What's up, dudes? Embrace the fluff. Off-season has started. I'm already 110 kilos upon waking, and I might be 115 kilos by the time we're recording this because, well, it's later in the day, and I had 4 meals in so far. So if I look a little bit puffy, my sincere apologies, but my chest gains are coming. This is a new shirt because the other shirt was getting way too tight. Talking about shirts, this shirt, right, that I awarded in the giveaway has been going to Jason because he put a $1,500 order in at Modern Aminos. So he's going to get that shirt. And I'll see if I can get some more shirts from Japan, because if this is a good success, then I don't mind giving more shirts away every single month for the guys who use my discount codes and support me greatly. So let me see if I can get some more shirts together. In the meantime, a couple updates. The Gorilla Mind giveaway is still ongoing. That will be going on for a couple weeks. So there's $1,000 in cash to win, or a Corvette C8 Stingray plus cash. If you spend $1, you get 1 entry. You can follow the link listed down below and use my discount code Vigorous, so you can get 10% less entries, but also save yourself 10% on your upcoming orders, right? So it's a little bit of a win-lose situation. You save some money, but you get less entries. But if you put in a big bulk order anyway and you spend $1,000, then obviously that's 1,000 entries. And right, you use my discount code to get 10% off. So you only spend $900, but you get 900 entries. I'll let you decide what you want to do. I would use the discount code, because how many entries are you going to need to win something, if anything? All right, the Mono Amino shirt giveaway we just discussed. Cosmic Nootropics still has 25% discount on crypto payments. That's ongoing, but I just wanted to highlight it to you guys. This Cerebralizing experiment is almost coming to a close. I think I have about 8 injections left, so give or take a week. Plus today, it's all finished at next week, Saturday. And then I'll switch to 10 milligrams Cortexin for about 20 days, so you have a good comparison point between 2 months on Cerebralizing versus 10 days, 20 days on Cortexin. And then finish that deep dive off nice and strong before the end of the year. The consultation rates have increased since November 1st onwards. I increased them with 50%. Already got a couple more inquiries, so I guess the demand is never ending. But hopefully this can reduce the burden a little bit. Finally, I'm up to speed with all of my consultation requests that I had when I was at Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas. And going forward, I should have a little bit less demand, less personalized services, so I can actually focus on YouTube videos going forward. I added Belligas Pharma and Modern Aminos. I both indexed their websites in the Control F source list with discount codes. So head over to my website so you can find some reliable sources there. Muscle Nomads Olympia wrap-up I posted last Monday. Didn't get so many views, so if you haven't watched it yet, do me a solid and give it a watch so the views can go up. And you can see all about my Mr. Olympia and Las Vegas trip experience with Aaron Burke as well. I overlaid all of the pictures that we took during our trip and a couple of videos about the place that we ate and gyms that we visited, that kind of stuff. That's all included in the Muscle Nomads. Project Gyno blood work review video ended up being 1 hour and 20 minutes. I can't do short videos, so that's undergoing the editing process. That should drop next week. We did the Anabolic Roundtable episode 6, 2 hours. Right? Also undergoing the editing process when the blood work review video is done, right? He is about 50 minutes in, so I think somewhere Tuesday, Wednesday, that should drop, and then he starts working on the Anabolic Roundtable. Man, at this rate, I'll have 1 video per week, because every video is so goddamn long and has so many things to edit into it. Unfortunately, I don't have time to edit my own videos yet, but as soon as I have 10 videos in the pipeline for my editor, then I'll start editing my own videos again, and I'll keep those short. The non-stimulant fat burner stack I also recorded today. Got about halfway through it. That video ended up being 1 hour and 10 minutes long. I have to explain every compound, right? And there's a boatload of different compounds, whether they're stimulatory or not, right? So I made a specific stack designed not to elevate your heart rate while you're trying to undergo a fat loss phase. And that should be the way going forward, because clenbuterol, ephedrine, phentermine, Anadrol, that's the old way of doing things. And SLU-PP332, methylene blue, MOTS-C, cardarine, injectable carnitine with methionine, inositol, and choline blends. and perhaps mirabegron, which isn't very stimulatory. That's basically the new way of doing things. And one way, the old way, makes you feel old and tired and fatigued, and the central nervous system stimulation galore to the point you break down and have full-blown, what is it called, post-contest blues by the time your diet is over. And the new way of doing things makes you feel refreshed and lively, go-lucky, and very energetic, even if you're 6% body fat. So stay tuned for that video to drop. Then I'm going to record another Timothy Pietkowski Trenbolone masterpiece. He released 2 Trenbolone videos, or 2 Trenbolone studies, one with a sample size of 30 people, and another one with a sample size of 283 people. So I'll decide which one to review, or maybe I'll do both. Might as well do both, right? Make another 1-hour video for you guys. And the Christmas is in New Zealand, which I didn't need to mention because I mentioned that last week. All right, let's look at the internet. I think the internet speed is stable. Is it stable? Last week it was atrocious. Right? I mean, last week I was so blurry that, I mean, even crying at a funeral would make you see clearer than the video quality we had last weekend. It was StreamYard's fault, or actually my connection to StreamYard, because the text at the bottom of the screen was completely clear when I watched the live stream back. But then, you know, my video and audio quality was absolutely atrocious. So after 1 hour, I decided to throw in the towel. And then I re-uploaded the local recording without the banner and the question. So fingers crossed it doesn't happen again. But sometimes you have to use some backups. So with that out of the way, let's get into some member questions, whether they were pre-posted or just posted in the chat. And let's get some hydro in because I'm already feeling a little bit thirsty. All right. James B asks, my vigorous uncle, what, if any, over-the-counter supplements would you recommend to lower blood pressure on 20 milligrams Turinabol per day? My friend says hawthorn berry works for him. Carditone is probably the best way to lower your blood pressure. It's a blend of several different herbs. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember what the Carditone blend contains, and some of the Carditone blends have different herbs compared to other Carditone blends or Carditone blends. And maybe beetroot extract to a certain extent, right? You have to dose like 500 milligrams a couple times per day because it seems to be in and out. It increases nitrites, and which produce nitric oxide, which helps dilate the blood vessels. So that would be basically my go-to if you really need blood pressure management on top of just megadosing the magnesium, which everybody should be doing because you need, or you go through a lot of magnesium for contractile capacity and relaxation, right? The magnesium controls the relaxation of the muscle tissue, and calcium is controlling the contraction. So you burn through the magnesium quite rapidly, but magnesium also helps to dilate and relax the arteries. So magnesium, carditone, and beetroot extract, those are all over the counter. And if you need more than that, if you even need a blood pressure management on 20 milligrams Turinabol per day, I don't think your heart rate will be increasing that much because it's an aldosterone synthase inhibitor, and actually it makes you pee like crazy, keeping your blood pressure in range. But if you do need blood pressure management, besides these over-the-counter supplements, telmisartan, Cialis, lisinopril, injectable and adenosine monophosphate, right? There's many a option that you can look into. London Mekana. Hey, when taking Cocrisema sodium versus Sema, I don't know what that is. What do you recommend dosing the total concentration? We're talking about semaglutide? Cagrilintide. So that's a combination medication. I just mentioned it in the fat loss stack. So let me get you the full name. This is the problem with guys using abbreviations that I'm not familiar with. Shame on you. So the full name, let me go through the notes. Where is it? It's called Cagrilintide. Cagrilintide is an amylin receptor agonist, which is commonly combined with semaglutide for further appetite suppression and fat loss. So he's talking about cagrilintide plus semaglutide sodium. Those are new formulas available on the market versus semaglutide by itself. Would you recommend dosing the same total concentration? Was taking 0.5 milligrams per week semaglutide, total dose 0.5 milligrams combined total, or the dose concentration of each? So I think when I mentioned on the vial, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because I haven't really looked into this combination of cagrilintide and semaglutide, but when they say 5 milligrams, it's 5 milligrams of each, both 5 milligrams cagrilintide and 5 milligrams semaglutide, similar to how they say 5 milligrams BBC 157 and TB 500. That's not 2.5 milligrams each, it's 5 milligrams each. Now, I don't know how cagrilintide works because I haven't looked into it, so unfortunately I can't answer your question. I would just stick with the same dose as the semaglutide that you're running and just continue with 1.5 or 0.5 milligrams per week and see what happens, right? Because the cagrilintide will be an addition on top, but what the exact dosing protocol is, I haven't really looked into it. At one point or another, I will do a retatrutide deep dive, and then if cagrilintide becomes more popular, I'll do a deep dive for that. But it depends on the questions and the popularity, because I'm kind of tired of bringing something new to the fitness industry and then I make a video, a deep dive, and nobody watches it, right? I mean, I need to get some ROI on my research. So for now, I would say continue with the same dose, but I don't exactly know what cagrilintide does alongside semaglutide. D-Brad, what do you think about low-dose naltrexone for pain? I don't know anything about low-dose naltrexone, so I don't have any answers for that, unfortunately. What muscle relaxers, painkillers can be tested athletes take? Whatever is not on the WADA prohibited list of 2025, that I will make a video about. The WADA-approved doping stacks of 2025. That's in the pipeline. Stay tuned for that because they released their latest WADA prohibited list of 2025 about a month ago. I just haven't got around to make a video about it yet, but it will be done. So whatever's not on the list. But off the top of my head, I don't know anything because I don't recommend muscle relaxers or painkillers commonly. Do you need to inject cerebralizing very slowly? No, it's water-based. It goes in like butter, so I inject it in maybe 30 seconds, and then it's done. All right, member questions. Luke asks, 50-year-old male, 150 milligrams testosterone enanthate per week plus 100 milligrams Primo per week. So the one I use growth hormone before bed, but interrupting sleep. Can I instead take growth hormone in the morning, 2 hours before breakfast and workout? Yes. That's totally fine. I don't see how it interrupts sleep, but if you notice that, then switch it to pre-fasted cardio, by all means. Knox Yu asks, Thai boxer, taking 200 milligrams testosterone enanthate doesn't increase hematocrit or give me energy. 250 milligrams testosterone enanthate, hematocrit increased to 49%. I feel good, but get heavy and watery. Estrogen is in check. Would 150 test plus 150 or 100 Primo be better? EQ, Trenbolone don't work for me. Yeah, so you got to be limited what you do. So it could be just additional sodium retention. I mean, testosterone and estrogen just also promote electrolyte retention, resulting in water retention. So you could give 150 milligrams testosterone enanthate propionate plus 100 milligrams Primobolan a try, run that for about 8 weeks and see if you like that better. But for most Thai boxers or athletes in general, I would not recommend more than 150 milligrams anabolic androgenic steroids per week because it just increases your mass and your oxygen demand, your overall energy demand, and that reduces your stamina. So watch the Endurance Deep Dive video series instead, or watch the mitochondrial support stack instead for unlimited energy, right? Unlimited power. That is the way to do it. Laser beams from your hand. Noxu asks, you asked last week about a seminar. I can't join New Zealand, but if you do one in Thailand, I'm in. You do the community-driven studies. Should I send you my blood work of coming on and off? No, I don't do any community-driven studies beside the Bathmate study, which now we have about 50 participants, even though only 5 people actually keep me up to date on what they're doing with the protocol. So this is always how it goes, right? I read an extensive list on what to do. I asked them for information on how you're going to incorporate the protocol. I hear nothing. So well, at least they're using my code, so I can't really complain. But the sample size of the Bathmate experiment, instead of 50 people, I think the large majority will drop off because they're simply not keeping up to date or keeping me up to date with their progress and what they're running exactly. So I know exactly what coming on and off looks like, so you don't have to send me your blood work unless you want to schedule a consultation. And I don't think there's any demand for a seminar in New Zealand. We're going there for Christmas and leaving before New Year, so I literally have one day to plan it. And I know working in New Zealand on the visa that I requested and got approved for is apparently not allowed, so I would have to do it in Thailand. And well, who's going to fly into Thailand and spend $1,000 per day to join in on seminars and do blood work? Very little people. So if you're willing to spend $1,000 per day for 5 days in Thailand and help me get me to babysit you for your trip and do seminars and workouts and blood work and interpretation, and we get about 20 people together, so that's $100,000 in my pocket for the seminar, then I'm willing to do it. But if there's no demand for that, which I don't think there is, then it's simply not really worth my time. Noxu asks, hey Steve, just wanted to thank you for the PCT tips. 8 weeks after last testosterone injection, HPTA almost fully recovered. Just need to wean off Clomid and Nolvadex, then enjoy Japan. PCT wasn't that bad. Okay, so I think you started your PCT too early. You stopped 4 weeks after the last injection, which is probably a little bit too early. Usually you need 4 to 6 weeks for testosterone to clear and then start the SERMs, the Clomid and Clomiphene. But hey, if it worked, it worked. I'm happy to hear that. Even though personally I would have waited a little bit longer. Skel asks, for a boxer fighting in a lower weight class, would HRT, TRT dose go along with a small dose daily Anavar? I saw your MMA stack video, but wonder if you make any changes on it year round. No, I would not do Anavar. I would only do Turinabol, honestly. I mean, you could do a low dose of Anavar, 5 milligrams, maybe 10 milligrams per day, but any kind of oral steroid will put weight on you and it will lower your fighting capacity. Plus, if you start cramping, plus if you start getting a lot of metabolic fatigue, then obviously your opponent is going to punch you repeatedly in the face and you can't even block it. So look into mitochondrial efficiency aids, look into methods to improve your hematocrit, red blood cell count, and your oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin, right? What is it? Inositol tripyrophosphate, for example, EPO, those kind of things. Those are all more beneficial for boxing or MMA or athletic performance sports than anabolic androgenic steroids, which I highlight in every single video. But everybody's old school; they want to take the steroids, and then they wonder why they're on the floor gasping for air. Right? It's not my fault; it's your fault for not doing the research. Chinggis asks, last Q&A, you plan to try a joint health product for moderate aminos that contains pentosan polysulfide. Yeah, it turns out it doesn't contain pentosan polysulfate, but 3 other ingredients. Let's see, what did it contain? I must have misread it. So it actually contains, let's see, I got it here in my blood work video. So Modern Aminos has this joints of steel formula that I'm running right now, 1 cc in the morning, 1 cc in the evening. And that's helping with my joint lubrication quite a bit. So 2 hardcore workouts over the week of legs. Where is it? Man, my notes are always days long. 150 milligrams N-acetyl-D glucosamine, 40 milligrams chondroitin, and 40 milligrams methyl sulfonyl methane, abbreviated to MSM, per 1 milliliter. So I take 1 milliliter of that in the morning and 1 milliliter in the evening. So that's 300 milligrams N-acetyl-D glucosamine, 80 milligrams chondroitin, and 80 milligrams MSM over the day. And so far, so good. I'm almost through my first vial, and I notice significant relief. So I will still like to try pentosan polysulfate, but I haven't really found a source that I feel is reliable. And when I ran the pentosan polysulfate, the pentosan gold from veterinary grades, right, 2 shots, and I was done because the post-injection pain was so terrible, even though it did give me a relief in my left knee. That seems to be bothering me to this day, albeit that it's getting better. So yeah, I misread it there. So the joints of steel formula from Modern Aminos doesn't contain pentosan polysulfate, but yeah, I sourced my pentosan back in the day on, let's say, a supply website for race horses and race camels. I'm sure you can piece it together. I asked them for a discount code, but I never got back. So it is what it is. Chinggis asks, a TNT doctor I follow online recommends HCG and daily microdosages of testosterone cypionate, 12.5 milligrams as a TRT protocol. He says it maintains better fertility on TRT. What is your opinion on this protocol? Have you ever implemented it or heard of its effectiveness? Jesus fucking Christ, are you new to the channel? Yeah, of course it will work. Well, you have the best possible fertility. by removing, or compared to removing the testosterone cypionate and replacing that for follicle-stimulating hormone? No, of course not. But you would be able to maintain your fertility parameters, and assuming that your partner is below 30 years old, you should be able to get her pregnant by microdosing testosterone cypionate and taking HCG at 500 IUs 3 times per week, or maybe even 250 IUs 3 times per week, even though that is subpar intratesticular testosterone production compared to natural testosterone production, and thus impaired spermatogenesis and fertility parameters. And I still am of the firm opinion that you should come off cycle and then increase the HCG and adding in the follicle stimulating hormone at 75 IUs 3 times per week at least, or every single day preferably. And then depending on the age of your partner, you either need to bring your fertility parameters up to godlike levels, or at least 22 million per sperm per 1 milliliter, and then have an ejaculation of 3 to 4 milliliters, which again is better if you do that off cycle, because you're less horny and then you jerk off less or you have sex less. So at least when you have sex, there's a lot more semen in there, and the motility and the morphology is all up to par based on the World Health Organization standards of 2010. Yeah. So long story short, can you get somebody pregnant on this protocol if they're young enough? Then yes. And we're talking about at least 21 years old. Right? Because below that, you're still a child, even though you might be fertile. Right? And the amount of 21-year-olds I meet on a daily basis, Jesus fucking Christ, I would not want to have that as a baby mama. Ugh. Let's see. Bronson Fighter asks, what would be the best dose timing of 4 IUs growth hormone for gaining muscle mass? 2 IUs pre-workout in the muscle being trained, and then 2 IUs before bed. Or all, at this point, I would do all 4 IUs before bed. Yeah, it seems to boost IGF-1 levels quite a bit. Even though, multiple administrations of growth hormone over the day will also boost IGF-1 levels. Long story short, just get it in. Yeah, that's what she said. Get it in, and the magic will happen. Bromja asks, what is your experience with steroid cycles and ancillaries where libido increases were minimal while having blood work in range? Did these cycles typically come with less of a sense of well-being? Just diet hard, and then you can run whatever. Diet hard, and they have no libido. But of course, when you're dieting hard, so you go in TRT, and you diet hard, you restrict your calories, you drop your fat to 0, or as low as you can get away with, and you have no libido. But your blood work parameters will be as good as they can be. Maybe HDL is a bit low, LDL is a bit low, and citrus bergamot, daily fasted cardio, and fish oil is not able to erase that to a certain extent, but you can never have perfect blood work on cycle, whether that's TRT or higher. So if you have crazy high libido, just take the fat away from your diet, and your libido will drop. Or go on an Anadrol only cycle. Those people seem to be fucking docile and non-motivated to do anything. So maybe that's the way. I was pretty docile, even though I had decent libido on an androgen only cycle. And maybe that's the way. You take the testosterone, the estradiol, the DHA, and the pregnenolone away, and then you basically castrate yourself from a sex hormone and neurosteroid perspective. I don't know. If your libido is high, just deal with it, man. Get a girlfriend or 2. Deal with it. Come to Thailand. I'm sure there's many guys, or many girls and guys in line to help you deal with your libido. Randy Marsh asks, what's the upper limit for you in Cialis for blood pressure control? From where on there's no benefit from it anymore for that? I don't know, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams per day. I just don't take Cialis frequently because it gives me terrible acid reflux that I cannot mitigate. Morphix asks, hey Steve, is there any way to lower elevated heart rate from using 4 IUs growth hormone? I tried Pharma and Genetic Grade, currently using the Bivolol 5 milligrams twice per day, and Concor Plus beta blocker. All right, I don't know this Concor Plus, but if you're using the Bivolol, that's a beta blocker in itself. I see this question pop up quite a bit, that people get elevated resting heart rate from growth hormone, and the only pathway I would assume that that's coming from is by increasing deiodinase enzyme activity, increasing T4 into T3 conversion, and thus T3 levels go up. Or your thyroid stimulating hormone levels are so sky fucking high because you're not taking T4, and thus you have a lot of burden on the thyroid gland, and that might be interacting by elevating your heart rate as well. So check your total and free T4 and T3 levels in your thyroid stimulating hormone and your reverse T3 levels. Might as well check your thyroid thyroglobulin antibodies for Hashimoto's disease, and then see if there's anything off there. Right? If a beta blocker is not getting it done, then maybe you're taurine deficient, maybe you're magnesium deficient, maybe you need to add in ubiquinol, PQQ, and shilajit fulvic acid. I mean, on a combination of, let's say, 200 milligrams ubiquinol per day, 5,000 milligrams taurine per day, 1,000 milligrams magnesium from magnesium glycinate, citrate, whatever you find is the highest bioavailability, 1,000 milligrams elemental magnesium per day, 40 milligrams quinone per day, PQQ, and let's say 500 milligrams shilajit fulvic acid to help with the ubiquinol absorption. I don't think your heart rate is going to be uncomfortably high. Really, whether you take growth hormone or not. But if your T3 levels are significantly elevated or your thyroid stimulating hormone levels are significantly elevated, then that might place some burden on your heart, increasing your heart rate. It sounds like an electrolyte problem to me, honestly. Yeah. All right. Moving over to the super chats. Evolutionary performance. Could you help me find out if there's an interaction with valociclovir on cycle? I never heard of that, and I have no idea. That probably requires me to do a lot of research, and feel free to schedule a consultation for that. It's not something we're going to do here on the Vigorous Q&A. Here I speak about things that I know off the top of my head. D-Brad, can I combine a low-dose nebivolol with low-dose propranolol in the evening to aid in a decrease of sympathetic drive post-workout? Make sure the vitals are still in range. I never looked into the drug interaction. Technically, you could, but I would rather do low-dose propranolol twice per day, morning and evening, the second dose being post-workout. Oh, this is not a super chat. We'll do those first. Anthony Nelson taking BBC 157, TB 500, Anavar, Blue Cap, growth hormone, generics. Testosterone Deca. If Tren preserves muscle in a caloric deficit, then Tren would preserve muscle while being unable to train after surgery. What dosage? 25 milligrams per week. Watch the Trenbolone deep dive, baby. You don't need much for Trenbolone to prevent cachexia. Honestly, dude, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do a cruise after I do my gyno surgery a couple months from now in January. And I'm going to run BBC 157, TB 500, Anavar, and TRT dosages. No Deca, even though that might still be in my system because I'm running Deca now. And Trenbolone will be long metabolized. So, dude, don't worry about it, man. Muscle memory is great. You will lose a little bit of size. You will gain a little bit of fluff. And that will give you all the more incentive to train extra hard and enjoy the transformation once you're ready to hit the gym hard again. Really, don't worry about it, man. The more drugs you throw at it, that doesn't mean you're going to recover better or maintain the muscle mass better because you need to exercise. So I would rather take less drugs and just focus on healing. And then, do the transformation as soon as you can go back to the gym. MS, natural. What? What are you doing here, bro? Testosterone, 940 nanograms per deciliter. Estradiol, 37. E1, estrone, 37. Estradiol, 26. When adding dinomethane 2 times per day at 100 milligrams meaningfully raise testosterone levels, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Your testosterone levels are already high, and your estradiol is already low, having minimal negative effect on luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. So whatever you're doing it right. If anything, I would add in the Cialis and the carnitine to help with androgen receptor sensitivity and potentiate a little bit more fat loss, and thus your adipose tissue has less aromatase enzymes, increasing testosterone levels even further because there's less aromatization. You're welcome. Even though Cialis is not on the doping list, and neither is carnitine, so you're still natty there. Hey Steve, in regards to methyl testosterone being an anti-aromatase, sharing with you. I already mentioned to you in the community page. I had never looked into methyl testosterone being an aromatase inhibitor, and it didn't come up in my research on aromatase inhibitor. So I think it's a poor aromatase inhibitor. There might be some scientific evidence there, but nobody's going to run methyl testosterone as an aromatase inhibitor because it's liver toxic as fuck. Right? So why would you switch from aromasin or well, Aromasin is the best option that you have, or DHT derivatives to methyl testosterone, unless you're scared to inject, which I think 99% of the people here are not scared to inject. So we're going to forego that. But if you want to do research and make a video about it, go right ahead. For me, it's low on the priority list. Dubster Buster, do you have to switch to testosterone gel for a period? Oh, I have to switch to testosterone gel for a period. How do you convert dosages for absorption in mind? I have no idea. I have no experience with testosterone gel. It's not something I ever looked into, nor I have a desire to look into. So I would start with 2 or 3 pumps on the testicles per day, and then go by serum levels and adjust accordingly. So I'm sure you have some blood work on 250 milligrams testosterone enanthate per week. And then you go to 2 pumps of testosterone gel per day. You check it again 8 weeks later. That means that the exogenous or the injectable testosterone enanthate has completely been metabolized. And then you see where your serum levels are there. And if it's lower than before, you increase the pumps. And if it's higher than before, then just enjoy the higher levels, because why reduce the dose? Right? This is not how we do it. My estradiol is 350. What can I do, sir? Start eating some meat. Yeah, it's that simple. Meat increases testosterone levels. Hey Steve, can you take Mounjaro into Dubai from the UK? As it's registered, it is from a registered website. I have no idea, dude. Check with customs. That being said, every time I get checked in Dubai, they let me go. So I got checked twice. Both times I had testosterone with me, and they asked me what this is, and I said it's for my hormone replacement. I'm here for 1 week, and I need 2 ampules. I had 500, 600 milligrams testosterone hormone replacement. And they let me go. But I don't know about Mounjaro. I'm sure you can find it there. You walk into Bino's gym, and they just scream very loudly, "Who sells Mounjaro?" And I'm sure there's 5 sources there just ready to sell it to you for a markup. I mean, Bino's gym just screams of drugs. It literally smells like Trenbolone in there. Yeah. I'm sure you can find something, man. I also have Telmisartan, Cialis supplement needs, health subs. Can these be taking into Dubai? I think so. I don't know. Do you expect me to remember the customs for all countries? I'm sure you don't expect me to. So do some fucking research and figure it out. Can't see if my question went through. What is the peach oil metabolizing time versus castor oil in testosterone enanthate? I want to switch from MCT for less aromatization. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the study peach oil versus castor oil. I think that was testosterone undecanoate, but it should be in the ester videos. It should be in the citations of the esters videos, because I do remember writing the citation for it, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. So just go through the citations and find that study, and then you can see how much of an effect this peach oil has versus castor oil on the half-life of, I think it was testosterone undecanoate, or maybe testosterone enanthate. Again, I can't remember. It's been a while since I made that video and did the research. Kalim, injectable Anadrol versus oral and their effect on SHBG. So if you inject Anadrol or you take it sublingually, then you bypass hepatic metabolism into Mestanolone, which is a more potent androgen. We discussed this on the anabolic roundtable. I thought methasterone, but that's Superdrol, so it's Mestanolone. And that might lower SHBG more than the actual Anadrol itself. Now, I just started oral sublingual Anadrol without swallowing, because I don't want any of these orals to pass my intestinal tract and ruin my digestion, which I'm still trying to improve. So there'll be oral steroids, sublingual administration, swirled all around while I'm preparing my pre-workout injections, and then I spit out the remainder. Whereas before I would do sublingually 10 minutes and then swallow the remainder, right? So you still get a little bit of that goes through the intestinal tract and get absorbed, and maybe messes with your intestinal tract with long-term exposure. And with injectable Anadrol, you certainly have none of that, but then you have post-injection pain, right? And the risk for the synthetic solvents, the carrier oil that this injectable Anadrol is produced with. So if you take it orally, the conventional route, you get a conversion into Mestanolone, which is a potent androgen, and that lowers SHBG probably more. I don't think it's been investigated direct, oxymetholone versus Mestanolone. But I would say that it lowers SHBG more than oxymetholone itself. Again, do injectable Anadrol, 50 milligrams pre-workout, 4 to 5 times per week for 4 weeks. Do your blood work and then take it orally. exact same dosing protocol, but different administration route, and then see if there's a change in your SHBG levels, right? That's simple. Blood work will tell you everything you need to know. What can a woman take to increase appetite? I know, MK677, GHRP6, the same things that men can take. Periactin, there's a couple options. All are non-virilizing. Higgs, doing 500 milligrams a test and 1500 feels the exact same now. What? All right, well, try to reformulate, and then we'll answer this question a little bit later when I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. Hey, Steve, wanted to add Deca to see how it feels on joints. Was told to try NPP first as it clears out faster in case of mental sides and HPTA shutdown. You will get HPTA shutdown from your testosterone base, so you'll just be shut down longer when you take Deca. I thought 19 hours take a long time to clear. Yeah, so the detection time of NPP is 5 months and Deca is 18 months, even though the main metabolites that are suppressive metabolize in a couple months. So NPP, man, what was it? Let me look it up in my notes. I don't remember all of these things. Where is it? 1 second, guys. Man, where the fuck is it? I got too many notes. Anadrol. Come on. All right, Nandrolone decanoate, the half-life is, or the active life is about 75 to 90 days, and phenylpropionate, the active life is about 23 days, based on the half-life. The detection time of Anadrol and phenylpropionate is 12 months. So, yeah, it's in your system for a very long time. I mean, if you want some joint lubrication, look into Primobolan. Also works pretty well for the joints. I always got joint relief on Primobolan, even though it doesn't increase synovial fluid. That did seem to help with joint integrity and improve strength, or at least you feel a little bit more safe while doing heavy weights. So maybe try that first. Mental sides mostly come from Deca. You don't really see that with MPP. Could be due to the chemical composition of the ester, but and the GABA interaction. So, yeah, I don't know. And otherwise, try the Joints of Steel formula from Modern Aminos first, the discount code Vigorous, to see if that can help with your joints. It's, I mean, I'm on Nandrolone and Trestellone, which is very protective and helpful for the joints. And that combination of Deca, Ment, and Joints of Steel formula is slowly but surely making my knees feel like the good old days when I was still 16 and power squatting and the bouncy reps and that kind of stuff, even though everything is a lot more controlled nowadays. Benjamin Heights, what's up, buddy? Can you store cerebral lysine in the syringe? I have 10 milliliter vials and want to use 5 milliliters daily. Yeah, that's what I did for a very long time when I had 10 milliliter vials. So you just draw 5 milliliters into a 5 milliliter vial and another one in, or another 5 milliliters into another 5 milliliter vial. One goes in the fridge and the other one goes into the glutes. And then you use it the next day. So I've done that for a very long time and no issues there. So that's Vigorous Steve approved. Can you recommend a female hormone expert? Girlfriend has a really tough time with the menstrual cycle. Victoria Felkar. She is the boss. She will come on the podcast soon after she finishes the Swiss Symposium in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, so she will come on and we'll discuss female hormones into great detail. Hey, Steve, made some changes to my protocol. Please criticize. I don't know. I already mentioned to you that I don't know what your goals are, so include your goals, because otherwise it doesn't matter. And check your SHBG levels. Will PCT be shorter if coming off test no ester? Yeah, because you can run a PCT basically 5 days later, because that's how fast it takes for a PCT or testosterone ester or testosterone suspension to clear from your system. So you don't have to wait 4 to 6 weeks, unlike testosterone anti-recipionate. You can literally wait a couple days. Very true. Thank you, Steve. All right, my pleasure. How old is too old for reconstituted peptides in the fridge? Should I throw it out 6 months old PT141 and semaglutide? That sounds like a very long time, but feel free to do a 0.1 milliliter shot to see if you get an effect. And again, semaglutide is pre-mixed, so I would say that that's a safer bet to use than self-reconstituted PT141, where you injected air into the vial, which can then denature the protein peptide chain or contain bacteria that can actually feed off the PT141. And now you're injecting grown bacteria and not peptides anymore. So, yeah. So self-reconstituted peptides I would not use after 2 weeks, but growth hormone pens or insulin or semaglutide, liraglutide, dulaglutide, etc., you could still use because it's self-sealing, right? It's just liquid, and every time you press the pin down or the pen down, it goes less and less and less and less fluid, but no air ends up in the cartridge. Any way I can get rid of stretch marks? I have a video on this, but I can't remember off the top of my head what the solutions are. Let me link it for you down below. I mean, the best prevention is, or the best cure is prevention. So that means that you have to supplement with collagen and that kind of stuff to kind of help, prevent stretch marks. Because I didn't get any more stretch marks after I started supplementing with 20 grams to 30 grams of collagen per day. There's surgery and laser treatment to kind of blur the definition. But yeah, once they're there, man. How would you dose semaglutide? I already answered this. Use the timestamps once the video is done. All right, guys, if you post questions in the community page, I either ask them there or answer them at the beginning of the Vigorous Q&A. So if you start spamming me with questions, when you remember, and please don't do that. Pisses me the fuck off. So I already answered this. Use the timestamps or just scroll through the live stream if you want to know right away. How do I increase SHBG on cycle? I have a video about that. Use the search function to find it. Just type in SHBG in the search function and you'll get that video. Hey, Steve, is there a big difference between how I feel if you go down in test from 250 to 200 milligrams weekly? Will this cause weight loss? I don't think you'll notice anything, but your weight might come down with a little bit because, well, you have less hormones, less total testosterone, less estradiol, and thus water retention will come down. But if you keep training and keep eating your protein, then I don't think you'll lose any strength or muscle mass. Any guess of half-life of injectable Anadrol and injectable Superdrol? I have both. I was thinking about injecting it in the muscle, trying to bring up twice a week, 1 hour before training. I have no idea what the half-life is through the injectable route. All the half-lives have been established on the oral route, and even then, it's not really dry and clear what the half-lives are. That's why it's all over the place when you go through the scientific evidence. And again, I already did a deep dive for Superdrol, and I couldn't find anything about the half-life while researching. What channel would you recommend to your viewers, workout or drug related? All the guys that I collaborate with, so that's Paul Barnett, Chase Ahrens, Kurt Havens, Dr. Dean St. Mart, Aaron Burke. Right, all those guys are good for drug related content and workout. I don't know, I don't really watch workout channels. I just go to the gym and fucking train hard. I mean, Renaissance Periodization has some good content. What is it called? The hypertrophy guy with the big beard. He's got some good content. It's not something I watch, honestly. I know how to train, so it's I rarely watch it. Any way to reduce sleep quota to get more out of less? Hard work is getting very demanding. And no, everybody says that you need to sleep at least 8 hours per night. And just make sure that you have the blinder curtains and the earplugs and the room temperature regulated. And maybe a fan blowing on you to make you sleep as deep as possible for the 8 hours that you're in the bed. And otherwise, watch the Deep Sleep Deep Dive video series. There's 4 to 5 parts. And I'm sure you can find something very interesting in those deep dives, right? Use the search function, easy peasy. Hey, Steve, to piggyback off your viewers to Thai boxing questions, when you say you would never recommend more than 150 milligrams of androgens per week, does that include HGH? No, you can throw in the HGH. I mean, it might add 400 to 600 nanograms per deciliter on your total testosterone. So instead of having 600 nanograms per deciliter from the 150 milligrams testosterone that you're injecting, you might have 1,000 to 1,200, give or take. And or that's what I had. I had about 1,100 to 1,200 nanograms per deciliter on 156 milligrams testosterone antithetic per week, injected daily subcutaneous microadministrations, and 500 IOs HGH Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sub-Q as well. So I had about 1,000 to 1,100, 1,200 nanograms per deciliter, depending on when I would test and if I didn't miss any shots that week. And I think that is still okay to not get terrible stamina. I mean, my stamina is now a lot worse because I'm a lot heavier and I'm using a lot more gear. It sucks. What's the best injection frequency for libido? Every single day. Currently on 200 milligrams testosterone cypionate twice a week, 250 IOs HG 3 times a week, increased it to 500 IOs. Arimidex 0.25 milligrams per week twice. No morning wood, total testosterone 15 nanograms per deciliter, estradiol 69, DHT 106 nanograms per deciliter. Okay, switch to daily microadministrations, add in 25 milligrams DHEA per day, and eat more fats. Because, you know, most guys just undereat the fats, and that's why their libido is shit. And you know, dude, I'm eating 150 grams of fat per day, and I can't stop fuck. Yeah. Off-season, dude. Oh, try to put this 115 kilos in motion in the evening. It ain't good. But it feels good. Let's see. Thoughts on also adding Anavar for the pumping challenge? No, I don't think that's necessary. He's asking about the Bathmate protocol. I don't think Anavar is going to contribute anything if you're already taking DHT directly on the penis. So I don't think that's going to make a difference. But feel free to run it and just let me know when you write me your report that you also added in the Anavar. Nobody has really written me any proper reports yet, so I think that experiment is not really going well because people just want to read the email and then they flake out. And that's how people are. Hey Steve, is it possible to lose response to testosterone? My first cycle was 425 milligrams, had bloods of 150 nanomoles, and now it's 600 milligrams. I get yes. Yes, Higgs. Yes. I'm just going to say yes. Yes. You probably got bigger, and I don't know, man. Maybe it's time to look into other compounds to get some synergy. What about the Vital Surge? I have no idea what you're talking about, but thanks for the $5. When's your next lifestyle series videos coming out? At one point. The next one is about the year-round supplement stack, right? The supplements that we're going to do. It just takes me some time to prepare for it, and I want to get through these other videos, which I mentioned at the start of this Vigorous Q&A. But at one point or another, I will get into the lifestyle videos yet, and then use or tell you guys exactly which health supplements I run and people should be running year-round, whether they take performance-enhancing drugs or not, and certainly the ones that they need to be on when taking performance-enhancing drugs, whether that's TRT or full-blown megacycles. T-Brad, are you still on methylene blue, or did you go on the SSRI? So I started with fluvoxamine 50 milligrams per day, and then based on somebody in the Vigorous Q&A mentioning that they combined fluvoxamine with a low-dose methylene blue, I decided to give it a try. I gave it another shot. So now I'm on 5 milligrams methylene blue and 50 milligrams fluvoxamine, and so far so good. No serotonin syndrome, no negative drug interactions, no diarrhea, no hotness, no flashes, no problems, no fever dreams. None of that shit that I had with vortioxetine and methylene blue. So 50 milligrams fluvoxamine before bed and 5 milligrams methylene blue 4 times per week on workout days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, which I'll explain in the blood work video, Operation Gyno video that will drop soon. Yeah, so far so good. So it seems that anecdotally for 2 people, it seems that you can combine fluvoxamine with methylene blue, even though it is quite risky, and I wouldn't generally recommend it. Is there anything that gets depleted the longer the cycle goes? DHEA, neurotransmitters, magnesium. That's why I always recommend you guys to stay on top of your neurotransmitters and your DHEA and your magnesium levels. What would be reasonable enough to stop an open-ended cycle other than blood works being messed up? If you want to get your partner pregnant or you're going to jail. Or you don't have access to steroids. So in those two cases, right, try to do a PCT and then, yeah, either to get your wife pregnant or not to have such a horrible time in jail because you don't have access to the PCT drugs. Which is more lipolytic, Nabivolol or Propranolol? I haven't looked into it, so I don't know. I'll link her Instagram. I'll link her Instagram down below. And there you'll be able to find her. Joel Hansen. What's up, bro? You're coming soon, right? Oh, man, I'm so off-season right now. I can't wait to take you to Copper and then eat a boatload of food. Because I'm off the Tide. I'm not taking any tirzepatide. My stomach is properly stretched now that I'm in the off-season. I'm large and in charge. I'm 200... Am I 250 pounds? Yes, I'm 250 pounds. So as soon as you land, let's do some fucking eating. Because I can't wait, man. I'll see you in a few weeks. Okay, cool. So for the guys who don't know, Joel Hansen is a competitive eater, goes all over the world to do eating challenges. And if there's no eating challenge, he'll just sample the entire menu and turn the menu into a challenge all by itself. So when I was in the United States, we all had our booth together. It was a lot of fun. And we had a couple meals together. It was even more fun. And now he's coming to Thailand, and I'm off the Tide. No more appetite suppressants, no more stimulants. So I can eat a mountain of foods and get myself up to 260 pounds again. Dude, this is the biggest transformation ever, right? You go from 200 pounds to 260 pounds in 6 months. I thought I would never do this again, but here we are. Would there be any benefit to using insulin as a natty? If you're diabetic. Excuse me. If you're diabetic, then yes, but no. There are steps to the shit. HCG monotherapy, TRT, full-blown steroid cycles, growth hormone, IGF-1, some other peptides, and then insulin. All right, if you eat 6,000 calories per day and you can't possibly stomach it anymore, and your hemoglobin A1C is going up, and you have pancreatic insufficiency, which in many cases doesn't happen, but using the insulin just helps with the metabolism, especially if you combine it with some T4 or T3, then yes. But most of you guys will never get there. Most of you guys will never get to a point where you actually need insulin. Hey Steve, I've done a first injection of 1,000 IUs HCG 8 days ago on Friday, and I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When HPTA will shut down so I can go for blood work? Give it 2 to 3 weeks. 4 weeks to play it safe. Then you stop the HCG and give it a week for your testosterone and estradiol to clear, and then everything will be low. Yeah, then you go ask for a script. Hey, fuck. My LH is 1, my FSH is 0.5, my testosterone is 100, my estradiol is 10. Doc, help me out. You only have 5 weeks of misery to go through. Actually, 1 week, because going on HCG monotherapy is actually a lot of fun. Big full balls that needs to be milked. Yes. Dumpster Buster, regarding my question, we'll do blood works after 4 weeks, but need to know if the dose of Proviron and Anastrozole is an optimal starting point. And if 100 milligrams Primobolan is too low to get noticeable anabolic effects. All right, now I actually know what you're talking about, buddy. But just throwing a cycle at me without me knowing what the fucking goals are, then how can I interpret it? All right, making some changes to my protocol. Please criticize it. 1,000 milligrams testosterone and decanoate every 3 weeks. So that's, 300 milligrams per week. I would still do 250 milligrams every single week, unless you enjoy the aromatization. 20 milligrams Anavar per day, 100 milligrams Proviron per week, 12.5 milligrams Primo per week, 12.5 milligrams Proviron Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 0.25 milligrams Anastrozole Monday and Friday, 1 milligram finasteride every day. I don't know, it seems like a silly cycle to me. Do your blood work, check your SHBG, check your estradiol levels, and then take it from there, because you're asking me... God, where's your other question? If the dose of proviron and anastrozole is an optimal starting point. I don't know, dude, because I don't know your blood work. So I don't know your estrogen level. So I don't know if the proviron and anastrozole would be enough. So I would do blood work now to get your starting point estradiol and SHBG levels. And then do blood works again 4 weeks later, compare, and then adjust from there. And 100 milligrams of Primo is not too low. But if you're already on 20 milligrams Anavar and 300 milligrams testosterone per week plus proviron, then how much of an anabolic response do you think you're going to get from 100 milligrams of Primo, right? So again, do your blood work frequently, increase and adjust from there, and then, see what needs to be done. But this is not a cycle I would recommend or do. It's that simple. It seems silly to me, but I'm sure you have your reasons. BMX Shark. Have you been able to find the study with T-seed versus castrol and testosterone and the canoate? No, I told you it's in the esters video. You go look for it. I'm doing the Vigorous Q&A right now. What is wrong with you guys? Have you been able to find it? Dude, I've been answering questions here. What do you expect? No, I'm not going to search for it. You go search for it. You type in PubMed T-seed oil and castrol. I'm sure you get the result. It's not that difficult, man, but I'm busy doing the Vigorous Q&A. Of course I didn't look for it. What are you talking about? Fuck, some of you guys are, I don't know, a little bit short. Thoughts on Physogen peptides? I have no idea what that is. Matthew Pete, how can I fix constipation? My diet consists of a lot of blueberries and Greek yogurt. I think I might have become intolerant to them. Is 500 to 600 grams frozen berries per day too much? It sounds like you're not eating enough fat in your diet for stool lubrication. So tonight, get some Senna tea, 2 tea bags. Pour boiling water over that, let that cool down 20 to 30 minutes. Drink that so you can flush out all the constipated shit that's in your intestinal tract. Senna tea is very good for the maximum evacuation. Then you start a protocol of 250 milligrams Tutka 4 times per day with meals in combination with 500 milligrams ox bile to help break down fats. And then make sure that every meal has about 10 to 20 grams of fat and about 5 to 10 grams of fiber to bind everything together, lubricate your stool. 200 milligrams magnesium for intestinal fluid retention. And then you should have the perfect shits, just like I do. 2 wipes, and I'm done. Yeah. Too much details, but that's what you asked for. Hey, Steve, 10% body fat, want to bulk but can't gain without love handles, wanting to grow first. Can go over 200 to 300 a day, carbs or love handles start growing. What do I do? Embrace the fluff, dude. Embrace the fucking fluff. I'm fat. I don't give a shit. Fuck, everybody wants to stay lean, right? If you know that you're not growing optimally without gaining a little bit of lower back fat, then enjoy being small forever. It's that simple. If you know that your body is going to gain love handles by increasing carbs a little bit, then so be it, man. You'll diet that off with new muscle mass with a higher metabolic rate. I mean, I've been in a caloric deficit for 3 fucking years straight, unless I went on holiday. And after the last holiday, I was gaining weight so fast, even though I didn't really eat that much. And I was on a boatload of metabolic modulators to prevent fat gain. It just meant that my metabolism was broken. So the longer you diet, the more your metabolism adapts, and the more difficult it will be to retain your body fat levels at a low state. And then at one point or another, you need to increase the calories, embrace the fluff, get a little bit fatter for 4 to 6 months, reset your metabolism at 4,000 to 5,000 calories, and then start dieting from there, because dieting from 5,000 calories will be a lot easier than if 200 to 300 grams of carbs per day is already making you fat. I'm talking from personal experience. I ate maybe 200 grams of carbs per day while I was in the United States, and a good amount of extra fat, and it made me fat. So that just means that your metabolism is shit, and that you need to boost it and embrace the fluff. My lower back, I had this, and now I'm this. And I don't care. It's just part of the process, man. My quads also gained 2 inches. Very pumped, sore. What neurotransmitters do you recommend in particular? For what? What's the goal? Yes. Ask a little bit more specifically. Right? And otherwise, watch the Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive video series. It's 5 videos explaining you exactly how to dose neurotransmitter precursors or nootropics for particular purposes, and I have a full-blown super stack at the end of that series. What do you think about Crestor? Is that... Rosuvastatin. Yeah, I think that works, but most people don't need it unless you abuse yourself. So if citrus bergamot, daily fasted cardio, a healthy lifestyle, and ezetimibe can't get the job done, then there's always rosuvastatin at a low dose, sold under the brand name Crestor. But I've never in my fucking life ever had to recommend it to anybody ever. Because I always optimize the diet. I always put them on fish oil, fasted cardio, and citrus bergamot. And then if that doesn't get the job done, then there's always ezetimibe, and that gets the job done. And otherwise, rich yeast rice. Hey, Steve, had some heart arrhythmias last month. Watch your heart-related videos using ubiquinol, magnesium, shilajit, fulvic acid, and curcumin. Good. Well, if your heart arrhythmias are resolved, then I guess it's good. Right? Did you do a little bit more cardio and train less intense? Did you start doing that as well, like I recommended in the heart videos? Then your arrhythmias should be gone, right? And yeah, and the problem is resolved. So yeah, add in some taurine, 5,000 milligrams per day. That's the only recommendation I could give you on top of that. Okay, Joel Hansen says deal. So we're going to go to Copper and eat a boatload of food. We're going to go make them bankrupt. We're going to eat so much food that they call immigration and have us deported. My cheeks are ready. Look at this fucking jaw. That's from something else. Look at his chest. On my chest and my shoulders and my jaw is ready to destroy the buffet over at Copper. My wallet is ready also. It's like a couple $1,000 baht. Fuck. Jordan Day. All right, is there a question attached? I don't see it. All right, I'll try to remember your username. Oni Cyrus, just got blood work back, everything in range, but alkaline phosphatase was 220. Holy moly. Sounds like you have a bone issue. AST was 27 and ALT was 24. Elevated due to training. No, alkaline phosphatase can be elevated due to microfracture. So I would check your bone-specific alkaline phosphatase and see if that's the reason why your alkaline phosphatase levels are elevated. That's the only thing I could think off the top of my head, excuse me, why that's elevated if all your other blood work markers are in range. So that indicates to me a hairline fracture or something of the sort. I'm talking about... What? I wrote in the comment I wasn't able to find the study. I'm talking about peach seed oil, not tea seed oil. There's only one study with tea seed oil versus castor. Okay. All right. That's good to know. So you found it, right? Hey, for long-term travel prescription... For long-term travel, is prescription testosterone needed? I guess so. Yeah, it depends on the countries that you're visiting. I mean, if you're doing backpacking in Southeast Asia... and you're doing land borders, you just bring your test and whatever you want. But if you're flying into Australia and Sweden and America, steroid-phobic countries, even though America is not very steroid-phobic, but, you know, the last thing you want to do is fly into America with steroids. They'll send you right back wherever the fuck you came from. All right, so you need a prescription. And it's a prescription that's internationally recognized, so make sure you get it from a clinic or a hospital that's internationally renowned and recognized. Make a video when you go eat with Joel. Yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. All right. Finally went through all the member questions and super chats, and it only took 1 hour. Let's start answering some fun stuff. Random question. Do you think maybe when you're older that you'll ever want to bust a Dave Bautista and massively slim down? Well, dude, haven't I done a massive slim down multiple times in my YouTube career? First time for the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and the second time to get my wife pregnant. I looked like an emaciated fool. When a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, I was like 180 pounds or something. And then after I came off cycle to get my wife pregnant, I was 200 pounds. So at least it's a 20-pound difference. But when I fixed a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, I fasted for 6 weeks with a little refeed over the weekend because I still have a wife, and that means obligation. So that means we have to go out to dinner, which means it's refeed time, baby. So that was able to fix it, but I lost all my gains. And you see how fast the gains come back, man. Fucking huge right now. I'm literally fucking huge. This is the new shirt, right? This is the double XL or the previously I was wearing the XL shirt. Look at this shit. 4 workouts in. It's popping off the bone, man. Goddamn Increlex. Even the arms are a bit shitty, right? We're working on it. Still lean here. If this was my body fat everywhere, it would be great. But this foreskin thickness, yeah, it's my chest here also. Look at this shit. Ugh, disgusting. Anyway, what were we talking about? Paula Dave Batista. Yeah, of course. I mean, at one point or another, you got to slim down, man. And I do blood work every month. I did organ imaging again. I did an EKG, an echo, and ultrasounds and all that kind of stuff. And when I go to the Arnold Classic, I'll fly past LA, and I might as well do the Pronuvio tests there with Chase Aaron's discount code. And I get some additional testing. But as soon as you guys know me, if I see a red flag, then it's time to slim down. But so far, I'm having too much fun, and so far, my blood work parameters are not alarmingly off, or my organ imaging is all basically normal, right? Slight signs of left ventricular hypertrophy, we're talking about 1 milliliter out of the reference range. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. Not worried about that. So, at one point, I'll have to slim down, and whether that's at 50 years old or 60 years old, I'll be long off YouTube and nobody will remember me by then. Another member asked what got depleted during cycle. That's why I asked for neurotransmitters. Yeah, I don't know about the neurotransmitters, what gets depleted, it's kind of steroid dependent, right? So with Trenbolone, serotonin levels come down a little bit, perhaps GABA levels. With equipoise, GABA levels come down a little bit. There might be some dopamine interaction with Anadrol. So I haven't really looked into it, and every time I do research on all these steroids, there's very little scientific evidence when it comes to the neurotransmitter side, unless it's from animal studies, which doesn't always translate over. And in many cases, it's just extrapolation, so they speculate that serotonin levels come down or dopamine levels go up based on the behavior of the animals, not through homogenization of the brain and then analyzing serotonin levels before and after, which is difficult, obviously, because you can't take brain tissue before and then expect the same behavior, because you're literally removing part of the operating system. So, long story short, watch the Entrepreneur Deep Dive series, and then you'll get some more insight into neurotransmitters. Let's see. David Fry. Steve, just got over a lung infection, have a strongman competition in a week. Do you think DADA and GW would be worth it in such a short time frame? Yes, you'll get an immediate effect. How would you dose it? Thoughts on using Amino Asylum's Ultra Instinct? I haven't used that product yet, but it looks very promising. So again, in the next couple of months, I'll be trying some more Amino Asylum and Modern Aminos product. I'm just going to mention the name. Because you guys keep hammering me, and I think it's okay, right? I use that personally, and otherwise YouTube will slap the shit out of me, but it is what it is, man. Freedom of speech is important, right? And I make Amino Asylum great again. So, MAGA. That's only a MAGA shirt with 2 A's. Right, and their logo. That would be a good idea. Anyway, it was always great. I just had to use an alias. So I didn't try that formula yet, but I'll get it shipped over and give it a try and compare that with some of the Modern Aminos products, like the Motivator, for example. So long story short, DADA works instantaneously, or at least on the day of administration. There's no buildup. So in your case, since you have a lot of experience, I would start with 50 milligrams sub-Q or intramuscular if you want more of a dramatic effect, but I like to do it sub-Q. And then do that 30 minutes to 60 minutes pre-workout and give that a trial run. Start the GW1516 at 20 milligrams. Even though I feel that GW1516 is not very good for strength, I would rather, I mean, it's good for endurance, but it might come at the expense of your strength, whereas WADA does not do that. So, I mean, if anything, WADA made me a lot stronger. I mean, I'm almost at my personal best for when I was, blasting my socks off in the past. And but I'm doing a lot more time on retention and really focusing on the negatives and the pausing at the bottom. So yeah, and I think WADA and injectable coenzyme Q10 is really helping with that. But I explain all of that in the blood work video, which will be dropping next week. So maybe that's a stack for you to try. 50 milligrams WADA and 300 milligrams injectable coenzyme Q10. Even though it's in a week, so shipping will be a little bit longer than that. Again, coenzyme Q10, if you inject it, you get an immediate response. So maybe it will arrive by the time you hit the competition. And then the rest is just Anadrol and Anavar or Superdrol and Halotestin, depending on what you prefer, right? To keep your strength as high as possible. Maybe use a Ventolin inhaler to kind of open up the bronchial tubes and allow you to oxygenate the bloodstream. Maybe throw in 10 milligrams methylene blue, right? It helps with oxygenation if your lungs are impaired. Onisaurus, oh shit, so I got something to be concerned about. I was hoping it was elevated due to some other issue. Should I hop off cycle? I don't even remember what your previous question was. And what I answered. No, you don't have to hop off cycle for a hairline fracture, but it would be good to check your bone-specific alkaline phosphatase levels and then see if you have a hairline fracture somewhere, but you would need to do an X-ray of all of your body parts, because if you don't feel it, then it's a bit hard to pinpoint. That's the blood work is not going to tell you where the hairline fracture is. And, well, the good thing for you is steroids help with bone mineral density and bone mineralization. So why would you hop off cycle? And it might be elevated for something else, but testing your bone-specific alkaline phosphatase levels would be the first route to speed up the diagnosis of what is going on. Isaiah, 18 use growth hormone, 500 micrograms, TB500 to BBC 157, good for broken ankle. I think you can get the job done with 2 IU's growth hormone twice per day, and Anavar, and maybe testosterone. Yeah. But if you want to throw that much growth hormone at it, be my guest. I'm sure it can't hurt. Make sure you supplement with plenty of magnesium, calcium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K to help with transport of these electrolytes into bone tissue for bone growth as well. Lugo, DH, I'm going into gyno surgery tomorrow and I'm going to run the recovery protocol. Where and how would I actually inject the BPC 157 and TB500? So after you're done with surgery, obviously you're going to have all these patches on your nips and maybe drains. So I would start sub-Q like a little bit at the top of your chest, right? If you can even raise your arm, and otherwise you're gonna, well, let me demonstrate. Otherwise you're gonna have to go like this and just pin. Maybe you can hold tissue like that and pin in there as close as you can get to the site of injury. And then I would do 500 micrograms morning and evening, because it has a reasonably short half-life, because it gets broken down by the dipeptidyl peptidase 4 enzymes found on the cell membrane of most tissues. Of course, you could take a DPPI-4 inhibitor, but those aren't very readily available. And if you're going in for tomorrow, then by the time those arrives, we're already 2 weeks ahead. So I would do 500 micrograms morning and evening, and then growth hormone around the site of administration. Then as soon as you can remove the bandage, then you start GHK copper or palmitate GHK. GHK copper I would inject subcutaneously somewhere else in the body, because it will go systemic and help with wound healing. So you can start that as soon as you come out of surgery. Works well in combination with 20 milligrams Anavar, 10 milligrams morning and evening. And then, let's see, as soon as you can remove the bandage and then remove the stitches, or even when the stitches are on there, you can also rub palmitate GHK topically on the site of surgery, so the incisions are a lot less pronounced, and maybe use a topical vitamin E scar cream as soon as the stitches are removed to make the incision look as natural as possible. This is basically a protocol that I'm going to follow, but I'll highlight that in my gynecomastia surgery video, which is going to drop in a couple of months, and by that time you'll already have recovered. So this is basically the protocol. 2 years growth hormone, morning and evening, 500 micrograms BPC 157, morning and evening, as close to the site of injury as possible. Let's say 5 milligrams GHK copper, subcutaneously in your glutes. That will go systemic, and then switch to palmitate GHK, an equivalent of 5 milligrams, but in a topical formula. And a boatload of collagen peptides. Yeah, that will help tremendously with collagen synthesis while you're using all these drugs. Any views on BPC 157 intramuscular injection into the forearm pronator tendon region close to the elbow? There's a fuckload of vessels and nerves there. No fat for subcutaneous administration, but that's where the injury is. So if you, well, you need somebody else, right? So, you know those clippers that you use? I recommended this to somebody recently, and he said it was magic. You use those clippers for laundry, right? So you clip that, if this is the correct region that you're talking about. I don't know. I think it's the pronator teres region, right? Is it here? My anatomy is a little bit failing me right now. Anyway, so it's in this area, right? Use a clipper to kind of lift the tissue, the skin tissue, and then you inject. So this is the way to do it if you have to do it by yourself. And otherwise, go intramuscular, man. You got to do what you got to do. Ilya, hey Steve, could 100 milligrams modafinil be used safely long term? 5 years. That's how long I used it. Well, I was using 50 milligrams modafinil fucking every day for 5 years straight. Between Noopept, methylene blue, and modafinil, which one would you prefer specifically for deep work? I would do a combination of Noopept, dihexa, or bromantane and methylene blue all at the same time. I don't know. I kind of lost my love for modafinil after I started experimenting with other compounds. Because modafinil always made me feel a little bit wired, and I don't like to feel wired. I like to feel clean. So today I took 10 milligrams Noopept, 10 milligrams dihexa, and 5 milligrams methylene blue, and I was in a tremendous flow state while recording that non-stimulant fat burner stack. It all made sense to me, but hopefully it will translate well to the video. Yeah, I went on a tangent of explanations why particular compounds need to be stacked together, and it felt also right to explain it in that certain way, which unfortunately means the video is now 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Yeah. You know? So give that video a watch when it drops. But yeah, I mean, everybody's different, man. Some guys like bromantane, some guys like intranasal Semax. Right now I'm doing it with, like before this recording, I always take a scoop of Respawn, because that's in and out. So by the time this podcast is done or this live stream is done, I can take a little bit of Gorilla Mind Dream, and then I hit the sack with that liposomal melatonin. Oh man, and well, today's no growth hormone day, unfortunately, but I will take 5 milliliters cerebrolysine, Gorilla Mind Dream, and liposomal melatonin, also from Gorilla Mind. 10 minutes, and I'm gone. Just enough time to put the ads every 3 minutes. Shit. All right, where are we? Chinggis. Is there any benefit to combining HCG and HMG to maintain fertility on cycle, or is it better to just increase the dose of HCG? FSH is not available. Dude, check the source list. There's plenty of FSH on the source list. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And otherwise, anabolic pharmacist got you covered. So HCG will maintain fertility on cycle, but once you come off cycle, it's better to switch to HCG plus FSH for the maximum fertility. There's a difference between maintained fertility that looks good on paper to pregnancy fertility, where you literally shoot loads and get everybody in your immediate surroundings pregnant. Right? There's a difference. And that's what I would be aiming for. So less exogenous steroids and more HCG, more FSH by the time you're ready to get somebody pregnant. C-clips. Well, I might be swinging by in March, bro. I'm coming to Las Vegas again. Shouldn't be drinking so much like last time, though. Zachary Monroe, I saw your Instagram question on early workouts with cardio before. If there's a couple-hour window, would a pre-workout meal early after AM fasted cardio still work? Or would you be too depleted with weight training that quickly? So let's say you do fasted cardio, you have your meal, and then an hour later, so there's 2 hours between your fasted cardio and your workouts, then I would think that's okay. Many bodybuilders did it like that. They would do their fasted cardio, have a meal, take a quick nap, take a pre-workout, and go to the gym. I did this for many years, and I would only skip pre-fasted cardio on the days I would train legs, right? Because then your legs are not in the slightest fatigued from the fasted cardio that you did 2 hours prior. And then, well, I mean, why would you do fasted cardio or post-workout cardio after your leg day when you should be going home eating and recovering? I would rather do that cardio session later in the day, before bed, after a couple more meals, if you're that anal about it. But if you're doing fasted cardio and then a fasted workout, that's kind of counterproductive. I would have a shake, do your workouts on this shake, and then by the time your workout is finished, your shake is also finished, right? From a metabolic perspective, you've burned through all of the calories or the large majority of it. And then your not so fasted cardio is almost fasted because you burned through all of the calories that were in the pre-workout shake or even pre-workout meal, right? So like, for example, next week I'll train, well, tomorrow I'll train chest, and then Tuesday I'll do legs. But in the morning, my morning is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I go to bed at 2. I mean, it's 1:20 in the morning here, for fuck's sake. But this is what I have to do for you guys over in the Western world. So I would do, I would have my meal, my breakfast, right? Boatload of eggs, yolks, and air fried kale and green beans. Then a boatload of injections. Unfortunately, all be explained in the blood work video. And then I go do my my chest day, and then I walk in between sets and maybe do 15 minutes on the Stairmaster afterwards, and I will do the exact same thing on leg day. Have my my breakfast, go to the gym, hit quads and a little bit of hamstrings, glutes, and adductors and calves, and then go on the Stairmaster for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, get some metabolic fatigue and a little bit of a pump going, and then I'm done for the day. Easy. But today I did my fasted cardio. Just like a good man should. BMX Shark, any tips for low-dose Accutane for stubborn body hair folliculitis, chest, glutes, and back? Or just zap the hair permanently? I'm not sure if that even works. So I've never looked into that method to control it. But stubborn body hair folliculitis, you probably need to do laser or laser that shit off. E2 in range for 250 tests on a Primo, have that sandpaper sealskin. Yeah, you just look at the cosmetic surgery and get it laser removal, because that seems to be the best way going forward. So you shave it and then laser it, and then it doesn't come back, and then the acne will be significantly less. And remove the dairy products and maybe do a low-dose doxycycline cycle to make sure that the bacteria are also dead that would otherwise aggravate the folliculitis, because it's also an inflammatory condition. And when there's a lot of inflammation and sebum production, then the bacteria can get hold and make it even worse. So maybe there's a little bit of bacteria on your skin that you can kill with doxycycline, 100 milligrams in the morning, 100 milligrams in the evening. Or you need to repopulate your gut microbiome after that, unfortunately. So be ready. Oh, C-clips to pinch the skin for the BPC in a weird spot. Okay, C-clips. I'll look into it. I don't know what that is. I would always use a clothing clip, clothing hanger clip for laundry. But I'm old school and a bit behind on all these latest technologies. Marius Peterson, thoughts on thoughts on a 20-week cycle. EQ 150 milligrams twice a week. Tesip 200 milligrams twice a week. Masteron 50 milligrams twice a week. Anivar 25 milligrams daily for 15 weeks. And ACG. Yeah, go for it, man. If you can control your lipids, your SHBG, your estradiol, and your liver enzymes, then go for it. Don't need my approval. It's not a cycle I would run, but if you want to go for it, as long as you can stay healthy, then it's good. And as long as you get the results that you're after, then it's good. Let's see. Hey, Steve, just want to know the detection time of HCG, Provaron, S4, and MK2866. I don't think that there's an established detection time for S4 and MK. Is that Osterine? MK2866. I haven't looked into that because I never recommended it. Yeah, Osterine. I think it's 3 weeks, but I could be mistaken. Provaron, let me see. Oh, not this one. Oh. Where is it? Oh, those are the injectables. Oral. Yeah, as far as I know, the detection time for Osterine is 3 weeks, but I haven't looked into it for a long time. Unknown detection time for S4 and Provaron. 5 weeks. Provaron is 5 weeks, and HCG is 10 days to 14 days. But I would do 2 weeks to play it safe. Yeah, so don't try to reinvent the wheel. Run some fucking testosterone, and don't compete in drug-tested federations with compounds that don't have established detection times. The data I have is oral. Does that matter on dosing? Is it even oral bioavailable? I thought it was injectable. I mean, when I did research, I always came to a conclusion that's an injectable compound. But I don't know, start with 50 milligrams and see if it's efficacious, and otherwise increase the dose to 200 milligrams. Or 100 milligrams first and then 200 milligrams. And if you don't notice anything, then just go to modern aminos and get yourself some injectable data. There's no post-injection pain, only unlimited power. Igor, yeah, the HCG detection time is in the HCG deep dive. But dude, the HCG deep dive is 1 hour and 20 minutes long. Nobody has time for that. You should see the audience retention on that masterpiece. I don't even know why I make long videos. I should just make short videos like every other fucking retard on YouTube. All right, Josh Brown. I'm 30 with 2 children and want to up my investing game. What is the best place to learn, or do you offer any courses, ebooks, or can we copy your trades? We're not going to copy my trades. I sold at the retest at top, and I'm waiting for lower prices. So. No, nobody's going to copy my trades because I don't want to make you lose money, even though most of my trades are in profit. Yeah, fuck you. Make your own trades. I don't know, follow investment YouTube channels and learn from there. Some of them have courses, some of them have ebooks, some of them have trading signals on Discord. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but I don't want to go into financial advice because I don't want to make you lose any money. If anything, I want to make you gain money. But since the investment game takes a very long time to learn, it's not something you should take lightly. And again, if you buy Bitcoin now and you wait a year, it's probably up. But it could not be the case, so you still need to watch the market. And learn about pitchforks and Fibonacci retracements and Elliott waves and the moving averages, and that takes some time. So find yourself a book, that helps. Come on, Steve, let us copy. Fuck off, dude. No way. Serious varicocele. HCG does not affect nut size. I thought about running a bottle of HCG 1 to 2 times per year anyway to hopefully keep my balls alive. Thoughts? If you have a serious varicocele, then you need surgery. It's that simple. It's that simple. Let's see. Do you think low SHBG individual need more frequent injections on TRT daily? I inject 75 milligrams twice a week with 6 to 10 SHBG, not feeling positive benefits. Having low libido and erectile dysfunction. Add in the HCG, which will increase your SHBG levels It will also increase your estradiol levels, even though that's already high. And from my personal experience, more frequent injections lower SHBG levels more because you have more frequent influx of androgens. And since serum levels are more stable, you also get less aromatization, and estradiol is the regulatory factor on SHBG. Now, I don't understand for the life of me why you would have such low SHBG on 150 milligrams testosterone weekly with such high estradiol, unless you're taking oral steroids on top of it, like Proviron or Ostarine or Winstrol, which are all very suppressive on your SHBG, or you have severe thyroid deficiency, so check your thyroid levels, which also regulate SHBG production. But there seems to be a lot more going on than what you're telling us, honestly. So if you're eating a fuckload of carbohydrates, but your thyroid levels are low, then maybe switch to a ketogenic diet, which raises SHBG levels quite a bit. Maybe supplement with T4 and T3, which also raises SHBG a bit. But for that, I would need to see your full blood work and schedule a consultation because it's a little bit more complicated than you might understand. And I don't see the full picture here. And there's definitely something missing in what you're telling me. Mike Freeman, all pump pre-workouts are pretty much a waste of money when I started 10 milligrams Cialis per day. Just adding creatine, ubiquinol, and caffeine and my workout is a banger. I'll add in data and then let us know. Add in 50 milligrams data pre-workout and let us know if all pre-workouts are pretty much a waste. But yeah, I mean, over-the-counter pre-workouts compared to Cialis with a little bit of sodium, creatine, ubiquinol, and caffeine, I mean, but you can't sell that as a company. You can't sell Cialis as a company. It's a prescription medication. So, and the combination of gorilla mode nitric with Cialis and data, holy shit, if you have that much money to blow, your chest would be literally here. You can't even contract it because it's so stacked. All right. I guess we're done with the questions for today. Man, I can throw in the towel. Let's see. No financial guru, Steve. I mean, I can give you broad investment advice, but don't copy my trades, dude. It's like copying somebody else's test results and then you get an F because they did their tests wrong and now you failed. You could have just picked and choosed. Man, a lot of weird questions in here. Hello, Steve. Do you think prohormones are dead? No, DHEA is still alive and kicking, man. That's the best prohormone you can take. Best prohormone for testosterone, estradiol, and dihydrotestosterone. But all other prohormones, besides the Superdrol, which was classified as a prohormone was classified as a prohormone, that came out of the prohormone era, and that's the only one we still use to this day. By the way, in recent Muscle Nomads, you mentioned you wish you went to the hotel, to the Vegas buffets. While huge, generally they aren't great, to be honest. I'll compare to Marriott in Bangkok. Okay. Yeah, I've heard mixed results, right? You have the Bacchanal and the Win buffet, and then I watched a couple of reviews, and I started salivating. But then Aaron was on a diet, and didn't want to go to the buffets, and I'm not going to go to the buffet alone. But there's always next time when I go to Vegas, right? There's always a boatload of things to do, and it's if I feel hungry, I might just hit the buffet. Who cares? But honestly, when I go to America the next time, I really need to cook all my own meals because literally every meal that I ate outside gave me fucking digestive issues, even Bavette's and even Barry's Steak Restaurant. I don't know what they're using over there, but RFK is really onto something, man. I think Americans are being poisoned by their own food. I hate to say, I mean, I have a sensitive stomach, so that's the reason why in Thailand I cook all of my own meals. I removed most of the big supplements like the pre-workouts and the essential amino acids, the glycerol, the beta-alanine, the creatine. I removed all of that because it just started fucking with my stomach, man. So I just eat real food now and copious amounts of like tablet supplements. Took the oral steroids out, so I really need to improve my digestion. But dude, every time I go to the US, my digestion is fucked. And it doesn't matter if I eat at high-class restaurants or shitty places like IHOP or Wendy's. It's just messed up, man. So last time I went to the US, of course, we cooked 2 or 3 meals per day ourselves, at least in the beginning. And then later on, we switched to 2 meals outside. And the only restaurant that actually didn't give me any digestive issues was IHOP. So maybe I need to eat there every day and just slime pancakes. But yeah, my digestion track is good as long as I eat the foods that I should be eating. But as soon as I eat something outside, in Thailand, it's fine. Maybe because I'm used to it. But man, in America, I don't know what you guys put in the food, man. It's not good. Anyway, if I know that I'm going to be bloated and distended, then I might as well fucking eat and go for it, right? Yeah, I mean, the stuff that Patrick Allard developed, like one Anadrol for DHEA, one for OHP, I think it's all useless, man, when you consider the alternatives which are tried and proven and well researched. All right, I know, James, I know you like to reinvent the wheel and not inject anything, but dude, just take some fucking testosterone and man the fuck up, and everything will make sense. That all these pro-hormones or topical gel formulas, it's all child's play. It's like a little toy car compared to driving an actual real fucking car. So stop reinventing the wheel. You're not smarter than anybody else. Just stick with testosterone and Primo and Anavar, and that's how you're going to make real gains, like all other real men make real gains, because nobody ever made real gains on pro-hormones or topical solutions or SARMs, for that matter. And if they do look big, it's because they're also on copious amounts of testosterone and they're just lying about it. E-Town. Coach Steve, it's been a while since I've had HCG along with HRT. I don't see kids in my future for several years. Should I get back on the fertility train immediately, or do I have time to address fertility later? I would say, or what I will mention in my fertility video once that's ready to be dropped, I would say that you need about a year on HCG for your fertility parameters to really be good enough for you to come off cycle, and then replace your steroids for FSH for your fertility parameters to be even better, and that takes another 6 months. So if you have 1.5 years notice on when you want to get your wife pregnant, then yeah, you don't have to be on HCG the entire way through, but it's just a way to keep your libido going, have your neurotransmitters or your neurosteroids in a more optimal range, even though you should still supplement with DHEA and look into mitochondrial efficiency for optimal pregnenolone production. And then, I mean, how much does a low dose HCG cost when you buy it through the Control F source list? It's not that much, you know. You get a discount on it, right? If you get it from a compounding pharmacy or TRT prescription, it's fucking expensive, but you can easily source it online for a fraction of the cost. Your fertility is sustained, your nuts are full, you're hitting the back door or the clitoris, depending on the position that you're doing, instead of having nothing moving there. I mean, ask any woman, a little bit of a nut tapping during intercourse is always more preferred than no nut tapping, whether that's on the butthole or the clitoris, depending on the position. More action, more stimulation for her. And your nuts are bigger, right? So you can glaze her from stomach to chin instead of having 2 measly drops, and then you're still coming physically, but there's no more salvos. You know, I have videos about this. Go give them a watch. America checking in, and cooking your own food is definitely the best way. And it's so hard on holiday, right? Because Vegas and all these places in the United States have such great tasting food. And I love to go out to dinner and taste everything and have a good time. Because, well, going out to dinner is equals having a good time until the bill comes, obviously. Well, and then the mandatory 20% gratitude. I'm like, fuck. That's why living in Thailand's better. They do like 5% and 10%. You know, so let's see. Where was I? So yeah, cooking your own food is definitely the best, but when you're on holiday, it's very hard to control yourself when there's so many food options and nice restaurants to try. So I guess I just have to suffer through it. Mike Freeman, want to be a trader? Do what Michael Saylor does. Keep buying Bitcoin. Tops, hold it forever. Seems to work well for MicroStrategy. They just need to hit a new all-time high. Yeah, in the stock market, they hit a new all-time high. But that's not really trading. That's just hoarding. That's just hoarding and driving up the demands because there's less Bitcoin to go around, which you now see with the ETFs and stuff. I mean, these guys are buying so much Bitcoin that at one point I'm going to stop trading too. Well, actually, no. I will still sell at top or what I think is top, ladder out at that point, and then buy back in when it crashes and everybody gives up on Bitcoin. That's where I buy in. Yeah, then it goes 5x, 10x. Good times. It's worth experiencing, yes. Food in North America is different. I got a whole story about my digestion when I first went to Thailand. Oh, so your digestion in Thailand was a lot better? You're saying, even though right, street food is a bit risky, but if you stick with the restaurants that are good, you know, with a closed kitchen and that really cater to a lot of people and that are high on the reviews, then yeah, man, the digestion here is very, very good. I mean, Thailand isn't really a third world country. They call it a developing country. But if you go to places that you handpick, right, nice hotels, nice shopping malls, nice restaurants, it doesn't come close to anywhere else. Maybe Dubai, but then the price is like 4 times higher, or even in Las Vegas, the price is 4 times higher. But the food quality is not up to par, man. Even though I did have some good fucking steaks in the U.S. Holy moly. But you can get good steaks here. Go to El Gaucho. Okay, it will cost you $300, which is very expensive for Thailand. I go there once a month with my wife when we want to have some good steaks. But those steaks are, I'm going to say, they're better than in America, man. Honestly, or maybe that's what I'm used to. But yeah, so I think America is just the best for diners, right? There's nothing like peppermill. There's nothing like what is that cafe called? Cafe Lux in Cafe Lux. There's a couple diners in Las Vegas which are just, I mean, the food selection is just amazing. Thank God we have Cheesecake Factory here now, so I can get off of my diner addiction. What was it? Junior's in Resorts World. Oh my God, dude. Fucking pastrami sandwich this tall. Good luck finding a pastrami sandwich like that in Thailand, dude. For some reason, lobbying FDA wants, oh God, I don't want to hear this shit. Just buy it underground. Do you have any experience with teacrine? What is your verdict? It increased my heart rate and gave me palpitations. So after experimenting with a couple pre-workouts containing teacrine, I stopped taking creatine and now avoid it. And I think I told Derek specifically not to include teacrine in their pre-workouts, and that's why none of their pre-workouts contain teacrine. When you stop in LA, gotta go to Genwa Korean barbecue. It is the best I've been outside of Korea. You can have an eating contest there for sure. Genwa Korean barbecue. Genwa barbecue. Oh, it's actually coming up at the top. 4.5. Wilshire Boulevard. All right, bookmark that shit. Oh, this looks good. This looks really good. All right. Menu. Let's see. What are the prices? Oh, can't zoom in. All right, I'll check this out later. Much appreciated. I love Korean barbecue. And get some fucking bulgogi on the side. Everybody loves bulgogi, man. That's a good thing about flying with Korean Air. You get all the Korean food that you want. This time I got a business flight, though, to Las Vegas. So I think by the time I arrive in Las Vegas, I'll be sick of Korean food. But I'll be ready for Korean food by the time I hit LA after Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. Sound out of sync. Upgrade your PC. I think it's totally fine. Have you been to Rhodes? Have you been to Seoul? So I've passed the Korean airport in Incheon 8 times, but I never gotten into Korea. Every time I want to do it, but then I run out of time and I'm too busy and I decide not to do it. So maybe at one point or another. It's only 6 hours to get there, so never say never. Is there anything you might think might spot reduce fat? Look into the stubborn body fat video, which I discuss injectable glucagon and Helios, which both can spot reduce fat. I was using injectable Helios on my lower chest leading into the Mr. Olympia when I was running the Murbic run experiment. I just didn't really highlight it. But that was actually quite beneficial. Yeah, and if I were ever to use yohimbine and clenbuterol again, it would only be in the form of Helios, and I would just spot reduce my lower chest. But honestly, I'm going to do a boatload of liposuction in that area because my lower chest never got fat or lean, even if I had shredded glutes and my lower back was gone. So I'm old and I don't have so much time anymore to diet super hard and too many obligations. So I'm just going to fucking get it liposucked out. Joel Hansen, your experience with American food and digestion is also why I have specific requests at restaurants in the United States. So you and Aaron, don't be afraid to make requests. In North America, it's not about being picky. Yeah, you need to tell me about these requests because I saw you modified food all the time when we were at Bavette's and at that restaurant that we visited, that Mexican place. And then I thought you were a little bit fussy eater, but now I totally get it because you probably didn't have such bloated stomach and digestive issues afterwards. Whereas I'm like, yeah, I want this, and I'll just eat it because I assume that everything is going to go right, like it goes over here in Thailand and other countries that I visited. And then it goes horribly wrong. My stomach just literally just sits, and I would just have to lean back and just let it expand. So, yeah, you got to teach me these things for the next time I go to the United States so I don't have to walk around Prego. Let's see. What's your experience with injectable L-carnitine? How about Born supplementation? I've used both. I have a lot of experience with them. I have videos about this topic. You must be new here. I see a lot of dumb entry-level questions, so I'm going to skip over those. All I can find is oral SLU PP332. Does oral have decent bioavailability? So I couldn't find any bioavailability studies in the research papers that I read, so I'm not entirely sure, but I've only been taking oral SL PP332, and so has everybody else in the fitness industry, and it's, well, I don't have a comparison point, but it works fucking well. So I would say that 100 micrograms to 250 micrograms multiple times per day gets the job done regarding fat loss, optimizing mitochondrial function, mitochondrial biogenesis, energy production, and resulting in a little bit of cognitive and nootropic benefit. So, yeah, I would say that oral works just fine. Yeah, I never turn down oral, man. If you know, you know. Why does Tren make me feel like a god? That's why everybody eventually comes back to Trenbolone. I don't know, but it seems to raise dopamine levels quite a bit, even though there's not so much in scientific evidence to support that. I mean, everybody turns into a shopping alcoholic when they're on Trenbolone, as did I. I mean, I bought a fuckload of Legos, and I was just building Legos all day when I was on Trenbolone. And now I'm off the Trenbolone, and I don't want to play with Legos anymore. I don't know, dude. And I still got like Optimus Prime Legos and the Lighthouse and the Treehouse. And like I got like 10 sets on the way. And I was just happily shopping on Amazon, like, oh, I want this one, and this one, and this one. I'm going to build it all. And then the Trenbolone goes out. I'm like, why the fuck did I build that shit? Or did I buy that shit? Anyway, once it's all done, I'll display that in my house with some nice backdrops. Luckily, my time is finally clearing up a little bit after this trip to the United States. But yeah, Trenbolone seems to have some dopaminergic activity. And yeah, that makes you feel good, man. Just like Adderall has some dopaminergic activity and makes you feel good. Oh, already answered this. And Korean barbecue is expensive these days. Yeah, but if you want good meat, you're going to have to pay for it. That's what you can tell your prospects also. I say, hey, if you want to have good meat, buy me a drink first, and then we can talk. And otherwise, you go with the second grade, choice meat over there. They can buy you a drink. But you get what you pay for, girl. It's nothing like this meat, especially after you follow the bathmate protocol. That meat is fucking tenderized and full with love and appreciation. Marius Peterson, HCG 250 IOs 3 times per week for 5 weeks pre-PCT, followed by enclomiphene and tamoxifen for PCT, then MK677 10 milligrams nightly to retain muscle mass before the next cycle. Yeah, I think that's okay. Keep in mind that the MK677 will make you hungry, and 10 milligrams doesn't really increase your growth hormone levels that much. So I would go with 30 milligrams, which will also increase your appetite more. And then following PCT, everybody has a tendency to get fat. So if you really want to make yourself fat, then go with MK677. Yeah. Maybe I should take some of that tonight, so I'm really, really hungry tomorrow. Well, I'm just increasing my calories, and I'm already chunky, so let's not overdo it. I would deploy the MK677 at the end of this bulking phase, off-season, if I can't stomach any more food. But trust me, dude, I can always eat. I didn't get this jaw muscle for nothing, you know? Look at that, it's fucking protruding. It's hiding my fucking ear. Yeah, and it's all from chewing beef, chicken, eggs, salmon, vegetables, and copious amounts of mixed nuts, because I do a ketogenic diet, and that means no carbohydrates for me besides a little bit of fruit post-workout. So no, that sounds good to me. If you want to stay lean, maybe throw in a little bit of mirabegron, even though it hasn't been shown to be anabolic. Clenbuterol has been, and it doesn't interfere with your HPTA. So you're basically AOD, always on drugs, whether you do PCT or not. When you were on 25 milligrams per week, were you doing daily or every other day injections? Daily subcutaneous microadministrations alongside the other steroids. So I would throw 150 milligrams a test, 150 milligrams Primo, 3 milligrams Mastrone, and 25 milligrams Trenbolone into a sterile vial. Shake that vigorously, and then draw whatever I needed for that day. Pin that subcutaneous every single day. Let's see. And then the Winstrol was in a separate shot because that was water-based. Hey, Steve, this is Steffi. I saw that you were live. Just wanted to say hi. Hi, Steffi. I hope you're doing well. Coming back anytime soon or still in Germany? Let's see. Thanks, man. Yeah. Got to shake that shit vigorously. Do you have any videos talking about the attraction from opposite sex from being on Mastrone or Tren? Is it in pheromones or what is it? Is it just happen and it's amazing? Okay, so I think you just look better and you feel better, and thus you radiate confidence, and women like confidence. It's that simple. Plus you're more assertive, so you're easier to talk to. And since you're fucking horny on Trenbolone, sorry you have to hear this, Steffi. Since you're fucking horny on Trenbolone, and Mastrone, assuming you're not in too much of a steep caloric deficit, that can also be felt by the females. And some of them are willing to partake and help you alleviate the horniness. So, yeah, if you look good and you radiate confidence and you have some money to your name, or it looks like you have some money and you can give them a good time, then, yeah, like Gregory said, women smell Trenbolone. So, yeah, all of that, put that together, and yeah, that's why you have a lot of angry sex on Trenbolone, because it's the nectar of the gods after all. Your favorite pre-workout androgen? Your thoughts? Anadrol. Yeah, that's what I'm taking right now. Pumps for days. You know what? I got good news. The first time in 3 years, I finally had a lower back pump. First time in 3 years that I had a lower back pump. Happened yesterday. I did the hack squat, the seated hack squat, and then you slide down, you dip your lower back underneath the pad so you can get really down, right? You can get your knees into your chest. I'll make a video about this at one point or another. And And then you sink really down, hold it in the bottom position, and then you explode up for another 4-second negative on the way down. And then, of course, by the time I hit 2.5 plates, my lower back was on fire. And then I had to finish the rest of the workout. So yeah, Anadrol lower back pumps are back and probably here to stay. I probably need to watch my own video about minimizing lower back pumps, even though I'm already taking the electrolytes and the taurine. So maybe I need to violate my lower back with copious amounts of reverse hypers and hyperextensions to kind of stretch the fascia and allow for more fluid retention, minimizing the excruciating lower back pumps in a couple weeks. But let's see how bad it gets. Yeah, pre-workout androgen would be Anadrol, but Superdrol is also good, and Anivor is also good. Yeah, those three. Your thoughts on check drops, what Mike Tyson took. That's just a rumor, and I never really took check drops. I took methyltren a couple times, 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, injectable route. And that was pretty crazy, but I never took check drops. So I don't have an opinion there. It's not something I would want to try. My girlfriend swears I smell like cheese on train. Okay, maybe you need to shower a little bit more often, because that doesn't sound very fuckable to me. I wouldn't want to fuck a woman that smells like cheese, man. Ew. Nasty. Brendan Kelly, Steve, do you floss your teeth after every meal with chia seeds? Yeah, man, I have to brush your fucking teeth every time. Lol, they're very annoying in my teeth, but unsure that flossing this much is optimal. So now if you just get a toothbrush and just wipe it all away, then it's okay. But yeah, those chia seeds, they stuck to your teeth. And I just did, maybe you can tell, like this week I did the teeth whitening, even though I think at one point I need to go with veneers, because every time I do it, it gets less and less and less white. And well, the coffee and the cigars obviously aren't really helping. And now with methylene blue, even though I swallow that, through a straw, there might be some dye passing in my teeth as well. So if I were to do veneers, which is after the gyno surgery and after LASIK eye surgery, and after a lot of extra expenses which are going to be coming, family-wise, buying a car and that kind of shit, then I might do some veneers. But for now, it's a lot of brushing my teeth from the chia seeds. When I do veneers, though, I'm going to make sure that it has the least amounts of crevasses and that everything is nicely aligned. OJ. Was it all worth it, Steve? Not all, but the majority of it was worth it. Yeah, not all. Not everything is worth it in life, unfortunately, but the large majority is worth it if you navigate life without too much limitation. Because the things you regret are all the things that you didn't do. And that's why this time when I went to the United States, after 3 trips, or my 3rd trip to the United States, I treated myself to Mega Stuff Oreos. Because I regretted not buying the Mega Stuff Oreos the first 2 times to the United States. And eating 3 of the 4 rows of Mega Stuff Oreos was totally worth it. It was totally worth it, man. Even though it made me fat as fuck. And it surely didn't help with my digestion. Love you, Steve. Thank you. All right, let me do a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to continue. So please stay tuned. Let me type it in the chat. Bathroom. Am I typing that correctly? Bathmate break. Here, bathmate break. Be right back. All right. Yeah, be right back. Gotta do some pumping. Mute this shit. Come on. All right. Have you ever tried pure DHT powder or caps? Not that I'm aware that it's available on caps, but yes, I have DHT powder laying around here at home for sublingual administration, which will greatly enhance libido, which I mentioned in the libido deep dive. Yeah. So, yeah, have that in my steroid drawer. Chocolate dipped Oreos are the goats. I like the mega stuff. Yeah. And the new Coca-Cola flavor. That's also interesting. And man, the last day on the United States, I went to Walmart with Aaron, and you walk past an aisle with like 50 flavors of Oreos. And then I started tearing up a little bit because I know that I want to try all of the flavors, but they're all like family-sized packs, so I would never be able to bring it. And yeah, and it would probably do more damage to my coronary arteries than it's good for me. So I left them all there. How do you approach women in the gym? You don't. You let them train, dude. But if you strike up a conversation organically, then I'll roll with it. But no, you don't approach women in the gym, dude. It's that's what nightclubs are for. All right, just if you're a jack dude, then it'll be easy pickings. But if you look like a creep, then yeah, you might get thrown out of the gym. So I met my wife in the gym. We, you know, started a little bit of friendship. Then I started coaching her, and then she said she liked me, and then we went into a relationship. And she moved in a couple days later. Don't regret a single thing of it. Yeah, that was a quick pump. All I need is 2 minutes in the bath, mate, because there's not so much to pump. That's why I optimized the protocol. I've heard of Vigorous protocols, but a bathmate break, that's dedication, man. Yeah, I'm short on time. You got to get your bathmate break in whenever you can. You either take a slim break or a bathmate break. So the inner joke here in Thailand, whenever somebody would go to the bathroom during a workout, it's like, oh, slim break? Got to take some slim right now? Huh? Losing your pump? Steve, I started taking methylene blue in veggie tablets. Okay, that's good. And at least your teeth will be nice and pearly white and not blue over time. Xmas holiday Oreos are covered in white frosting. Oh, fuck, man. Stop it. Stop it. Oreos are vegan, by the way, so the coronary artery plus there are 2 reasons not to have it. Yeah, but then, you know, life is short, so some things you just got to have. All right, what else is interesting to answer? It's kind of dead in the chat. No more super chats. Everybody got their questions in. Maybe we should throw in the towel. 50 people are leaving already. Sad. Steve, Primo, Trenbolone, and VAR too much for a cut with a twat base? Twat base? Don't you mean testosterone? Test? The W and the A is pretty close. So everybody loves a twat. Good old twat. Cunts and twats. I mean, you know, motorboat material. Test Primo, Trenbolone, and VAR with a testosterone base for a cut. Sounds good to me, man. But you can throw out the Trenbolone and increase your Anavar and get better results. These guys, stop talking about food now. They're all pumping now, yeah? Everybody went to use their bathmate. I came on to check last week's Q&A, but you spoke about recovery from injury stack. You said it was on your website, but couldn't find it. No, it's on the YouTube channel. So there's tendons of steel and how to recover post-surgery. And that's all. So all you have to do is go to the search function, you type in tendon, and then you get 3 or 4 videos discussing tendon healing protocols, whether that's post-surgery or preventative methods. But it's videos. Sorry, not it's on the YouTube channel, not on the website. Any protocol to improve endurance? Watch the Endurance Deep Dive video series. It's only 7 videos, but once you've gone through it, you know exactly how to improve your endurance for particular sports. Have you coached soccer players with PEDs? Yes. Yes. Many. Yeah, these guys are fucking loaded. Would you recommend oral BPC for gut health? Yeah, it's good in combination with KPV and maybe LL3-7 if you have severe gut issues. I explained that in a gut health video. All you have to type in is gut. Right? Steroids ruined your gut. Follow this protocol. That's the title of the video. What's the best way to reach you for a one-on-one question? You go to my website, you schedule a consultation or personalized advice by email. You can find the rates there, and you might have a heart attack because the rates just went up because there was so much demand. So now the demand is less, so I have more time for videos. What do you think about the whole Jeff Nippert situation? Yeah, so it seems that based on the surveillance camera, Jeff Nippert instigated it. I still feel that the reaction of Mike van Wyk or Wyk, whatever, is a little bit aggressive. But then again, you don't know what's been playing through private messages or how much of interactions they've had in the past. I mean, I've lost my mind in the gym a couple times when people just got in my face and were way too personal and just got on my nerves. Yeah, so... Yeah, if it happened to me, though, I would have grabbed the barbell and just broke the barbell on his face. But that's me. So nobody pushes me and lives. But, you know, Jeff Nippert, it seems like a very passive guy. So, yeah, that's why he didn't retaliate. Of course, it's easy to push people that you know are not going to retaliate. And Mike van Wyk, I think a couple times he got confronted at the expo, and then he got very defensive, but didn't want to step outside with the group of people that he was arguing with. So, if you want to talk trash, then you got to back it up. You know, that's how it goes. If you want to talk trash, you got to back it up. So, yeah, it's a weird situation. I personally, I don't really care. Right? Was Jeff Nippert wrong or Mike? Well, it was wrong for pushing him, but then again, I don't know how much of a backstory there is between those two, right? At one point, you just lose your fucking shit because enough is enough, and you have to tell people to fuck off. Oh, of course, you could have told him to fuck off and get that camera out of his face. Yeah, sometimes you're on a boatload of train and you can't control yourself. That happens also. Still, you know, pushing somebody, just fucking bitch slap. You know, this is... Just use the fucking, or, you know, go all in. If you're gonna go to jail, go all in. All right, break your hand on their face. So, anyway, violence is never the solution. When you met Sam Sulek at the Mr. Olympia, did he say he watches your videos? No, so I asked him, do you know who I am? And he's like, no. I said, you should. Because you're not natural and you should watch my shit. So I told him to subscribe. If he did that, I'm not sure. But I know Ben Chow watches my shit occasionally. I mean, he was even in the chat a while back asking about particular diuretics. And so if Ben watches my stuff and he's in contact with Sam Sulek, or, you know, Sam Sulek is with a coach that watches my stuff, then I'm sure the information trickles down and he can stay healthy if he listens to that advice. So, yeah. I met, what's his name? Tristan Lee. I asked him, do you know who I am? He's like, no. I said, okay, then you're natural. And I said the same thing to Doug Miller, lovingly known as Drug Miller, which you actually mentioned. So I mentioned Doug. I met Doug Miller with his business partner, Chris Gethin. They have a supplement company. And Chris obviously knows me because we met at every fucking expo. And we always have a good laugh. And he's like, yeah, this is Doug Miller. I say, yeah, I know. So do you know who I am? He's like, no, I don't know. I said, okay, then you're definitely natural because I make content about drugs. He's like, yeah, they call me Drug Miller. I said, yeah, embrace it. Put it on a T-shirt. That's what I call you too, because it's hard to believe, man. Anyway, we had a good laugh about it. So, you know, you can't take it too serious when you're a public figure. So, yeah, I think at one point all of my information will trickle down to the people who are enhanced, whether they get it directly from me or not. And as long as people are staying healthy, then I'm good with it. Yeah. Talk about your plans for retirement. I mean, I will never fully retire because there will always be assets to manage and I will still make videos. It will just be less. So I have to see the workload by the time, I have kids and how much time that would take because I want to prioritize my kids first and then put business second. Luckily, I'm in a position where I can put business second. And if that means that my YouTube channel has one video every week or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks and no Vigorous Q&A, I got to put my family first, man. My parents were working fucking hard and I feel that I missed out on better parenting. So I'm going to be sure that I'm there for my kids and my cats and my wife, and I'm kind of coming towards the tail end. I'm still working as much as I can, but sometimes I just feel like not working, and then I don't work, which is very liberating. Like I've worked fucking 6 days a week and a couple hours on Sunday for fucking decades, man. And luckily the finances are there where I can say just, fuck it, today I'm not going to work. Or after the Mr. Olympia, for a week, I just kind of, I could have done some videos, but I was just catching up with email consultations and phone consultations and going through the people that applied for 10-hour consultation packages, which I had like 7. So I'll do the fucking math. So I had to prepare for all of that stuff. And then what little extra time there was, I wanted to spend with my wife because I didn't see her for 12 days, 10 days in Las Vegas and then travel time included. So I was like, you know what, let's go out to dinner here and let's go out to dinner there and let's do this and let's do that. Let's catch up this, let's spend a day in bed. So, luckily I'm in a position where I can afford that stuff. And, with the 200 messages that I get between Instagram and email and whatever, sometimes I just don't feel like replying, and that's retirement for me. Yeah, I think it took me like 3 years to get over that because I was coaching, right? I was coaching bodybuilders for such a long time, so I would check Line and Instagram and Signal and Telegram and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, right? I would check it all repeatedly just to see if some of my clients would need me, right? And it took me such a long time to get out of that. And now I'm completely out of it. I got the auto reply on Instagram, which is a bliss. Am I missing business because of that? Potentially, right? Because I'm not replying to messages as much anymore, if any. Sometimes I don't reply to messages for a week. But it's very, how do you say this? Calming. Well, let's just say relaxing. It's very relaxing to know that I don't need to reply to everything. Whereas before, for 12 to 15 years, I would have to reply to everything because that was my job, right, as a coach. And then, of course, all these people are in your inbox, potential clients, so you would have to reply right away because that could be potential clients. And if you reply right away, answer a couple questions, then they might convert into a coaching client. But now I price myself out of the coaching market, and I mostly focus on entrepreneurs because, well, look at my rates. And only entrepreneurs and, multimillionaires can afford that. And there's plenty of multimillionaire entrepreneurs out there that require my services. But if I don't reply for 24 hours, it's fine. If I schedule a consultation a couple of days later, it's fine. All right. So I'm so relieved that I'm out of that coaching thing because you have no fucking break, I have no break. My wife's birthday, coaching clients. My birthday, coaching clients. On holiday, before the flight, after the flight, coaching clients. So it's so fucking chill right now. And yeah, with the auto reply on Instagram and the auto reply on Gmail and on my website email, right, info@vigoroussteve.com, I don't feel the need to reply to everything. People know where to find me for the Vigorous Q&A that's here. And maybe at one point when I feel that the workload of my baby is too demanding, then I will stop the Vigorous Q&A too. Or maybe I can strike a deal with my wife that she stays awake or the baby is asleep. But then again, my wife is sleeping right now, and I would rather be awake and present and available to take care of the baby when they are born at a certain point in time. And unfortunately not do the Vigorous Q&A because that is more important to me. And I'm sure you guys can, well, because let's be fucking honest here, every single fucking question you guys ask, I have a video about. Every question. Every question, it's every week it's the same questions, you know. So there might be an occasional question in here that I don't know the answer to because it's out of my scope of expertise, or it's formulated in a way that it's worthy of extra time because it's nuanced and you can't find it in the videos. But I think 90% of the questions you can answer yourself by watching the videos, whether those are 3 years old or last week. They're still up to date and good enough to get your questions answered and find a solution to the problem that you're facing. So I don't feel bad for retiring from the Vigorous Q&A, but I will still make intelligent content, man, because who else but me is making these deep dives? And there's always a new compound out there to try. Right? SLU PP332 deep dive, Mirabicron deep dive. Non-stimulatory fat burner, stacking them all together and understanding the drug interactions, deep dive. All right, so if I stop with all of that, then where's the community going to go? All right, Kurt and Dean is going to have to pick up the slack, man, if I decide to throw in a towel. All right, let's do a couple more questions, and then we're going to throw in the towel myself. What's the biggest reason for weight growth? Any big factors of pharmacide and any other tips? Keep it small. Smaller meals over the day. That helps. And not megadosing the growth hormone, the increlex, and the IGF-1. But when you take the growth hormone, the increlex, and the IGF-1, or the insulin out, then your waist tends to shrink as well, as we saw with Chase Irons. Chase Irons had a pretty big waist when I was running pretty high dosages of growth hormone and insulin. And then he brought the food down and the insulin out and just run growth hormone. And his waist got right back, and now he looks like a fucking goddess. Or not a goddess. Like a fucking Greek god. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Jess. Greek god. That's what we're looking for. Chad's imposing Greek god. So it's just mostly about diet, man. You bring your calories down and the drugs down, and then your waist comes right back in. So right now, my waist is a little bit wider, even though I can still pull a vacuum when I do cardio in the morning, and that's when I usually practice my vacuums. When I do cardio, on the elliptical, and then you pull a vacuum for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then you continue, and then a minute later or 2 minutes later, you do another vacuum, right? So you get 15 or 20 vacuums in over the 30 minutes that I do my cardio, but I can only do that after vacuum evacuation. Like right now, yeah, it's about this deep. Maybe a little bit less, but I had 3,000 calories, give me a break, and a lot of vegetables. So a boatload of shit is in there. Do you think Lee Priest was a hyper responder, or his dosages were larger than he claims? Both. Both. How long can growth hormone survive outside of the fridge without being damaged, and why is it so delicate at higher temperatures compared to insulin? So if it's reconstituted, I don't know, the pharma growth hormone that's reconstituted already, that comes as a liquid, is stable outside of the fridge for very long times. But it's mostly that the ones that you reconstitute yourself, where the bacteria can go in through the rubber stopper because you inject a little bit of air for the positive pressure. And then those seems to denature outside of the fridge because the temperature is high enough for the bacteria to grow. So long story short, pharma grades in the pens or the cartridges, self-sealing, right? As soon as you draw growth hormone out, the rubber stopper comes down, and there's less and less and less liquid in the cartridge, but there's no air, no bacteria, because only stuff comes out. And in the reconstituted stuff, you put air in, you put the bacteriostatic water in, you puncture the valve multiple different times, bacteria or pollutants can go in, and if you keep that out of the fridge, it's a perfect environment for bacteria to grow. Can't wait for the anabolic roundtable. Yeah, myself included. Are you going to take a sabbatical? No. No, I already traveled the world, so we'll just do some nice trips. Steve, advice on controlling the rage on train. I find myself snapping at people, especially in traffic in the gym. SSRIs, antidepressants. That's the only way to overcome it, man. That's the only one. The only way. So 50 milligrams, 25 milligrams for Voxamine, and a low dose of tren, and a good amount of food. That's probably the best combination. But as soon as you reduce the calories, then you might still get snappy, so you have to increase the SSRI dose. And even then, on enough tren, I don't think an SSRI is going to work. So if you're on 700 milligrams of tren, low calories, it doesn't matter how much fluvoxamine you throw at it, you're still going to be snappy. Yeah, chase the Greek goddess. Oh my God. It's going to be a running meme. Yeah, or smoke some weed. That's why a lot of guys smoke weed during prep, right? To take the edge off, even though weed generally makes you stupid and very unproductive. So I'd rather be productive and not run tren and use fluvoxamine, methylene blue, and a boatload of nootropics to get the job done. All right, and with that, let's close it off. This was fun. Luckily, the internet was a lot better than last week. Last week, it was atrocious. All right, a quick wrap up. The Gorilla Mind giveaway is still in place. So $1 spent is one entry, $4,000 in cash, or the Corvette C8 Stingray. Follow the link down below so you know how to enter, and use my discount code 10% Vigorous for 10% off, which means less entries, but also saving yourself some money while shopping for Gorilla Mind products. The Amino Asylum order thing, I already gave the shirt away to Jason because he placed an order of $1,500. If I can get some more shirts in, we'll do some more giveaways this month. Cosmic Nootropics, 25% discounts on cryptocurrency payments. So if you want to buy yourself some Cerebralizin, use my discount code. And then if you pay with cryptocurrency, you get another 25% discount. Consultation rates have increased since November 1st. Yeah, if you prepaid, smart. And if you didn't prepay, then, well, the rates are the rates. And there's always plenty of alternative guys out there that offer consultations also, albeit that they might not have my specific set of skills. But they might be cheaper. Bellicose Pharma and Modern Aminos, I've added to the Control F source list, so that's completely indexed. So you don't need to go to the websites individually. You just go to my Control F source list. If you're looking for something specific, press Control F, type in whatever you want, and you'll get a couple sources with discount codes so you can save yourself some money while shopping online for these kinds of products. Muscle Nomads Olympia wrap-up has already been posted. It was posted last weekend, and upcoming videos are as follows. The Project Gyno Bloodwork Review video should be dropping next week. The Anabolic Roundtable Episode 6 dropping next week. The non-stimulatory Fat Burner Super Stack Deep Dive will drop next week, but probably the week after, because all of these videos are over an hour long. And then I will record the Timothy Pietkowski Trenbolone study using either 30 or 283 people as a sample size. And then after that, I'll probably do the WADA prohibited list of 2025 WADA approved doping stack. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun because they added Mod C to the stack, but I got a fuckload of alternatives to keep WADA on their toes for next year. But who the fuck cares? Don't compete in drug-tested shows when there's the Enhanced Games as an alternative. All right, guys, this was fun. I'll talk to you guys next weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Don't do anything silly that I wouldn't do, which means there's endless possibilities for you because I did a lot of silly shit in my days. All right, peace out. See you guys next week.